Big boy.
I can see him from here though, sat resplendent on the little gurney.
Yeah.
He's a very pretty man. Gurning. He's a very pretty man. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining us on this fine and beautiful Tuesday afternoon here on the very sunny South Coast. It's 28 degrees outside.
It's very warm.
Really nice.
I love it.
I knew it was a warm day when all I could hear was motorbikes driving around. But
The worst people.
what made it worse, they made me late here because two of them had crashed.
Oh, that was very silly of them.
Yeah.
Why did they decide to do that?
It's just
Attention.
Yeah.
like motorcyclists are the fair weather versions of old people when it's cold and wet. Because when it starts raining, they're like, everyone get in your car, we're going for a drive in the rain.
We have an interesting show to talk about today because of a number of things that have happened over the last, I don't know, week and a half, 2 weeks. Some stuff I was going to talk about last Thursday on the Liam and Joe show, and I ended up dropping it because we had a Thanes weekend here, and we ended up sorting that out. And I'm glad we did because I think it's been compounded by yesterday's announcements. Before we jump into it, however, normally we wait to say thank you to the wonderful human beings in chat, but Matt O'Reilly has just gifted 50 of the finest memberships.
He's spaffed on everyone.
50 off the bat.
Yeah.
Absolute.
Strong.
Yeah, what a fucking legend. Thank you so much, Matt, for 50 gifted memberships. What a hero.
I hope that you get private healthcare for life that costs you
Ooh.
nothing.
Here for it.
That's pretty spicy for a 50 bomb.
Thank you so much, Matt. You're an absolute legend. So today's topic, I have said something akin to proof that Games Workshop hates chaos. Now, I will put a bit of backstory before we start discussing this.
Yeah.
Right? This has not been a new story that's been covered on the channel recently after seeing the reveals for World Eaters, seeing the reveals for Death Guard, after seeing some of the contents of the Codex for Emperor's Children, after seeing the rules for Fulgrim.
And
Angron. It's not necessarily been a not talked about topic. However, there's been some more stuff that's happened in the last week and a half, just over, that has kind of proved this. First of all, last Wednesday, I think it was last Wednesday, there was an update to the Chaos Demons Index, Joe, on the Warhammer community page.
I'll see if they've done any updates since.
the app.
So the update happened, and what happened was, if you remember the previous update for Demonic Pact, I think it was called, it allowed you to take 500 points of demons with your Chaos Space Marines, and if you took any greater demons, you had to take a battle line unit of the respective deity or god. So if you took, for example, a Bloodthirster, you'd have to take 10 Bloodletters. That hasn't changed. But what it also had was it had a section that said, if you were World Eaters, you could take 500 points of Khorne Demons. If you were Death Guard, 500 points of Nurgle. If you were Thousand Sons, 500 points of Tzeentch Demons, and if your Warlord was Lucius the Eternal, you could take 500 points of Slaanesh. Now, this has both made me happy and sad, because we had been asking the question repeatedly on stream, how does this work?
Yeah.
How can we take more Slaanesh Demons in other detachments that aren't the specific Chaos Demons detachment in the Codex? And I had a number of you fucking knobs in the comments section who went, oh, it's obvious, isn't it? It'll just be the same as the other ones. So obvious that when they dropped the download on Wednesday, they fucking removed it.
Yeah.
It's gone. So the answer was what we feared. The only way you can take Slaanesh Demons is in the detachment. The only way you can take Khorne Demons is in the Demonkin detachment.
Yeah.
The only way you can take Nurgle Demons is in that singular detachment, and obviously it's probably going to be the same for Thousand Sons.
And still have the world's most pointless keyword.
So
That
if
means
you
nothing.
are a
Yeah, I
World
don't know what that is about.
if you had a World Eaters player who did in fact enjoy things like Rend Masters,
Can't use them anymore.
Only if you play Mono Demons now.
Yeah, and as we've discovered, not all demon detachments are built equally.
They're not.
No, I'm like pretty torn because I'm really annoyed I can't just take Khorne Demons with World Eaters off the bat. But also, the Demonkin detachment is really good.
Yeah.
It is good compared to the Slaanesh one, which is shit.
Yeah, I think the Slash one's okay. It's not great.
The demons one needs 2 changes, right? They changed the one which allows you to bring. It's just one change really. Change the stratagem for the uppy downy unit because the uppy downy unit it's 2 command points. It only works on demonettes, and that demon unit you can be removed and come back within 6 inches of an enemy unit.
Yeah.
But only if it's within the 6 inches of a friendly unit.
There's way too many hoops to jump through
Yeah.
for 2 CP.
For just make it 1 CP,
A
pick
strat-
any demonic unit up.
When a strat's 2 CP, it has to be insanely
Yeah,
good.
'cause-
Like auto fight on death, something like that.
And you're not even taking demonettes because they're garbage. Out of all the units in that book, I would rate them as probably one of the worst.
I think all three of us can probably agree, and having discussed this with people like Paddy and stuff as well, I think all of us probably agree that now removing allies from demons, allies from Chaos Space Marine legions, where you can take 500 points of demons for any legion, but you just don't get any army benefits or rule benefits. We all think that's big sad.
That's awful.
It's also very imbalanced when you consider that Imperial players with Space Marines can still take Agents of the Imperium and fucking Knights and.
This is what I was saying. Like they have the entire Imperial Agents Codex to just grab stuff out of, and the entire Imperial Knight. We do still have Knights.
That would already prove to us that there's a little bit of disdain for demons in the world of Games Workshop.
But also on the same matter, it's like I've always said to people, they go, "Oh, Games Workshop hate making money." I've always been like, "No, because that's silly. They love making money." But like taking demons away from the 4 Chaos Space Marine God Legions is just cutting off a money supply anyway.
There is a flip side to that, whereby now if you want to play any kind of demons, before you could buy 500 points and play some demons, now you'd have to buy a 2,000 point army. So there is a flip side to that one, to be fair. We then also, obviously, over time, we've seen, like I've said before, the Thousand Sons Death Guard box sets, the World Eaters box sets. Thousand Sons gets some new robots, that's it. World Eaters get one, basically, 8-bound model.
It's literally an 8-bound with a funny arm.
As a World Eaters fan, by the way, they have been done the dirtiest. I have now built the Death Guard guy.
He's pretty cool.
Beautiful.
He's done him.
He's a very pretty model.
I do quite like the 8-bound character guy, but he does not look as good as some of the stuff that has just come out.
He's just a character who you can lazily kit bash and look basically the same.
100%, yeah.
So and then yesterday, Warcom dropped an article, hence my thumbnail. And as it dropped its article, I dropped my fucking yogurt.
Same. We were literally playing Warzone, weren't we? And like someone said it in chat, I was like, okay, I'm just going to stop playing Warzone mid-game and watch this.
Honestly, I can't. So now I know why World Eaters have a shit character that no one put any effort in. Thousands of Squads got some boring static robots, and Death Guard got a single character because they spent all their time, effort, and money into developing Space Wolves. Yeah. And we saw the first reveal on the whatever the show was.
Adepticon.
It might have been Adepticon. And we saw the battle leader, and we saw the Grey Hunters, and we saw the head takers, and I was like, oh, this is good.
We were already very hyped. And at that point, that was already more new units than Chaos had.
It was. And yesterday, we saw Wolf Guard Terminators. Sorry, World Eaters and Emperor's Children players. We saw Wolf Guard Terminators. We saw Arjak Cockfist, who I was convinced wasn't going to get a new model.
Yeah, I was worried about him.
We saw Nigel, and we saw what is now, for me, the best model they've ever designed.
I can't argue with that, honestly. I think Nigel is low-key insanely cool as well.
Yeah. Like Logan, I would say that Logan is on par.
I think Logan's like Primarch level of insanity.
He's on par with the Lion.
I
think.
I kind of wonder what the fuck they do with Ross now.
I actually think he pisses all over the Lion and Gulliman as a model.
I agree.
Both of them. I think he's better than both.
Yeah.
100%.
I think the Wolves really bring it together.
It helps that I'm a very Viking fan, of course. So I am conscious that I have a slight bias because they went old man Viking Odin style.
Well, we were all begging for old man Logan.
Yeah, everyone wants that. No one wants Santa.
No.
But all of the design must have gone into the Wolves. They went. They basically Chaos. Like if you think about the World Eaters character, that got given to the Apprentice.
Yeah, that was like if we just cut one of the 8-bound's arms off and stick this random bit we found in the bin
where he's like dabbing.
Yeah. And it's
what happened is he was building some 8-bound and he went home for the weekend, and when he came back in, he forgot which kit he was using, and he went to the possessed kit and he stuck the arm on.
He was like, oh, that looks all right. Job's a good one.
Yeah, it's
honestly, Logan is.
I think Logan's model of the year now, honestly.
But what and so you know what? I don't think for 1 minute I begrudge Space Wolf players from having an update. I'm not going to be one of those people. I've tried to collect Space Wolves 2 or 3 times. I said this before. I failed at every hurdle because I hate Wolfen and Thunderwolves. I don't like them. So I have never always been a Space Wolf player because I haven't. Because I failed because of those models. This is such a me army that I'm all in here. And I don't begrudge Space Wolf players from having an update because when you look at some of those old kits...
They've had to wait...
They're tired.
20 years.
Well,
but I also want one thing I want to throw out there as well, because you're present, is not only is it big sad for Chaos, who Space Wolves have just pissed all over. If you compound, compact, and group Thousand Sons World Eaters, Death Guard, and Emperor's Children, I think the Space Wolf refresh already pisses all over.
The amount of effort they put into Blood Claws and
you could throw Emperor's Children on that as well.
Yeah.
Blood Claws and Wolf, the Grey Hunters, right? They put more effort into those 2 10-man units than they did into the Emperor's Children base infantry unit.
But where I was going with this,
because you only get 5 bodies in the Emperor's Children.
Where I was going with this, because the rhetoric in the internet at the moment, and what we've put on the thumbnail and the title is that Games Workshop hate Chaos. Where I'm going with this is there's another group of people I feel sorry for, Jay.
Yeah.
Blood Angels players.
I have no sympathy for them.
Blood Angels players must be looking at this and going, "What the fuck happened to us?"
Yeah. So like.
Blood Angels still got more than World Eaters, Thousand Sons, Death Guard
They
combined.
did. But what I'm going with is with Blood Angels, I don't dislike the Sandguard.
I like the Sandguard.
I don't dislike the kits they've got, but what they did do, I feel, is predominantly strip back a lot of the depth and flavour and made them kind of more generic. Yeah. And Space Wolves, they went, nah, we're going to go more Nordic. We're going to go more Viking.
That is true.
I was saying to Tom this morning.
Yeah.
Is that he was like, but you get Death Company. I was like, no, there isn't a Death Company kit.
There isn't.
The one thing I'll see to Blood Angels players is that he did lose Seth. He didn't get a new one.
Yeah.
That's the only thing where I do feel bad for you.
I would have been.
Other than that, fine.
We didn't need a Blood Angels captain. we didn't need a Blood Angels captain at all. They could.
No, that was.
They could have just given us Seth. We didn't need 2 new captains.
That's the other one as well. I'd forgot about that completely.
Oh, Grey Knight. Imagine being a Grey Knight player right now. Oh, I feel those I do feel bad for.
Imagine if all you got was an upgrade sprue for a baby carrier.
Jesus Christ. I think they got the worst deal of the edition, literally.
I was having a discussion.
Because at least Chaos stuff is fairly new.
I had a brief little conversation with a man last night about the fact that Space Wolves make the Blood Angels release look like a third-party 3D print.
Yeah, agree.
I do see that even now, yeah.
I agree.
Right. The detail that went into all of the Space Wolf units, right? The way they made them look so aesthetically beautiful, like all the wrinkles on Logan's face and all the beard, like every single beard they've done is perfectly sculpted onto every single body, right? And like
they've made the headless option really helmetless option really fucking good.
Everything's like all in proportion, and then the Sandguard, right? I don't have an issue with the wings. I didn't do the wings on before. Is they just look like they're in like chubby armor. They just look like a little bit. I don't know, a little bit fat, like chibi armor.
I kind of like the chunky armor on Sandguard. It's probably to me be weird. But I kind of like the Sandguard.
I think the Sandguard have grown on me, but in comparison to what it's one of those. I've said it before. It's the haves and the have-nots, right? They really worked hard to make sure that the aesthetic of Templars, Space Wolves, and Dark Angels has been met. You know? They look like what they're supposed to represent.
Yeah, I would agree there. I'd agree on all 3 of those.
I would agree that Blood Angels had the worst new update of the 3 that we've had.
And Blood Angels, like, you have 1 unit and an upgrade sprue, but you don't even have Death Company.
3 characters.
It's because the Death Company don't technically exist as a box you can buy.
They are a unit.
They're a unit that exists, but it's just intercessors painted black.
So I think
I'd say that.
I think
you get cool weapons.
I think sometimes comparing them with the Sandguard kit is slightly unfair because I actually quite like the Sandguard kit, and I said this at the time, and I know everyone got upset they had no nipples, but I thought it was an okay kit. But if you take, what I don't want to do with Blood Angels as a comparison is focus on an individual kit because I don't think that works. Some people prefer the angelic vibe, some people prefer the Viking vibe, some people prefer the medieval knightly vibe like the Inner Circle companions. I think Sandguard look great. But if you look at the overall range with Blood Angels, you have Sandguard, you have the characters, and then that's basically it.
That's it. They lost everything else.
Whereas with Space Wolves, what we're seeing is a core infantry unit in Grey Hunters, as well as Blood Claws, another infantry unit. And then you've got Space Wolf specific Terminators, Wolfguard Terminators, right? And we've got Head Takers, which can equate to your Sandguard.
Yeah.
So we've already got 3 additional kits there straight away before we even move into the characters now. And we may yet have not seen the full range because there's been no noise about Bjorn, for example.
Bjorn's the big question.
I'm actually nervous about Bjorn.
I will hold my hands up. I am convinced now that Thunderwolves are gone. I think we'd have seen them already.
I think.
And we shall all celebrate.
Well,
I think
down to they're either still in the book, they still exist, or they're legends.
Maybe they're waiting and they're doing like an entire Warcom article for furries.
Here's the real question for you, but this is slightly off topic for the stream, but here's the real question for you both, considering what we've seen so far. Is Lehman Russ coming?
No.
Not in this release.
No, I don't think so either.
I think
Definitely not in this release. We would have seen him. I
we've
think.
already had.
Also, like, how can he fucking stand next to Logan?
Are they doing? It's
They'd have to do
basically.
some mad shit with him.
It's been one Primarch edition.
But
Yeah.
I said this morning in the Thanes chat. Controversial opinion. Now I've seen what Logan looks like with his wolves. I don't care if Lehman Russ comes back. Don't care. Don't need him. Got Logan. He's beautiful.
I'd still quite like Lehman Russ.
I don't care. Don't want him. Not interested now.
I think he'll either come at the
don't
end
mind.
of this edition or at some point in 11th, personally.
Okay.
Because that's how they've kind of been doing it.
Interesting.
Because the Lion came out separately to all of his random Dark Angels updates.
Yeah.
But if we think about Grey Knights and we think about Blood Angels, is this proof that Games Workshop just aren't interested in Chaos, or is it just a lottery as to what design team works on it?
I think it's a bit just random, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just
like,
random.
we think the best range updates we've had in this edition is obviously Space Wolves probably take it now, but before that, Eldar had an insanely good one.
He did.
Good addition for Liam.
Very good addition for Liam.
Krieg Guard had a great update.
He did, yeah. Great addition for Liam.
Did anyone else have like a big one? Trying to think.
Emperor's Children, I guess.
So, like,
Emperor's Children were pretty good.
Emperor's Children
in terms of to
is
look at,
is a beautiful model range.
Yeah. Yes.
They've done an incredible job. What the problem is, it has a lot of holes in the actual army list itself.
I think they sort of won the lottery on the model design, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I think they lost the lottery on the person that wrote the fucking Codex.
they definitely didn't win on units coming over from CSM.
Well, no, so now we know. We've got, obviously, in front of us here, the World Eaters and Death Guard Codex. We'll be previewing Codex World Eaters this evening, previewing Codex Death Guard on Thursday. Big shout out Games Workshop for sending these Codex, they're amazing. We've got the Emperor's Children one sat in the middle there. We now know that World Eaters kept Predators and Forge Fiends, and Emperor's Children didn't. I don't understand.
I don't get it. Well, World Eaters and Death Guard both kept both. World Eaters and Death Guard both have the Defiler as well,
Yeah.
right? And both of them crucially have a cultist style unit. World Eaters have two.
Yeah, kind of.
Have
Yeah.
you noticed that cultists in the World Eaters
Yeah, so
have
I'm-
lost battle line?
Yeah, a bit
Yeah.
sad about that. It's
Not
like they
Codex,
put a
sorry.
detachment in to make the battle line in one detachment.
Yeah, so
Jackals
like-
have lost battle line.
So like we're not gonna make any assumptions on Thousand Suns, but like Thousand Suns currently
probably
have
have
cultists,
Zangors though, won't
but
they?
they have access to Zangors and
Yeah.
stuff. So like, whereas Emperor's Children don't have anything, like there's nothing in that book that's less than 80 points. So when I write army lists, it's a fucking nightmare.
The thing is,
I find it funny as well that the stuff we've kept, like Forge Fiends and Hellbreeds, are both legitimately really good units now.
Yeah.
And which is kind of a kick in the nuts for Emperor's Children, isn't it?
the thing is with Thousand as well, is you said we can't make any assumptions. You could assume, considering that World Eaters, Death Guard, and Emperor's Children don't have standard cultists, that Thousand Suns are going to lose access to standard cultists. But the way in which they're releasing rules and models nowadays, you can't assume that.
No, not
They
really.
might be the one faction that fucking keeps it for no
Sam's-
reason at all.
Sam's just pointed something out to me. Actually.
What?
Just made a good
Children.
point. I need to check.
What? You
They've
just
actually
had
updated the
CSM
app.
with Noise Marines.
Can
Oh no, I checked that. You can have Noise Marines.
yeah. So
That one time you didn't cheat.
that one time I didn't cheat.
Yeah.
Just that one time though.
Yeah.
So it's very
Well, I
much.
guess in the rest of the game you would have cheated, but apart from that,
He does always cheat.
I might take Fabulous Bill next week. Then in that case,
To where?
the place.
Secondment?
Yeah.
to the
Where's I've
the
deleted
tactics.
I've deleted Chaos Space Marines off of my thing altogether.
I'm done with you. Away.
Creation-
Well, Chaos Space Marines were Joe's most favourite faction, and he said categorically on stream last week that he now thinks his favourite faction is probably Tyranids, Perhaps not from a narrative perspective, but from a playing perspective, and that, things can change. I said from a model range, my favourite faction forever has always been Eldar. I think this has just been surpassed for the first time in ever in my Warhammer career. I think it's just been surpassed.
When I came back into playing 40k in about halfway through 9th edition, one of the armies I wanted to do was Space Wolves at the time. But then I realised that the models had not changed at all in the 10-year gap I'd had in between. So I was like, I'm not doing these. But now they have potentially the best looking model range in the game.
They had so in the last time I tried to do Space Wolves, I built Logan, his old Terminator model, but put him on a big old tactical rock.
Yeah.
Refused to put him on a sleigh, hated the sleigh.
Same.
Right, and he kind of fit the scale, and I think the old Terminator Logan was pretty.
Does that mean I can steal all the bases now?
Yeah, I had Ragnar, who is a gorgeous model, and you used to do that Wolfguard battle leader in the combat patrol.
Yeah,
and he was cool, and I was like Viking vibe. I've still got Bjorn out there ready to be built, hoping that I actually kind of want him to keep his old model because I like it.
It is funny,
and then you look at the rest of the range, and it was like. You could, as Joe will allude to, I've got a bunch of Assault Intercessors out there with Space Wolf shoulder pads and heads on, but I had to buy all the heads from the old Grey Hunter kit. Yeah. And they work better than...
The one time I had a go at trying to make kit bashing Assault Intercessors and stuff, I just got a bunch of Space Wolves 3D printed heads. There's just so much effort to get that and pay for that.
I'm hoping the Grey Hunters and the Blood Claws all have spare bare heads, so I can just... Because I've only blue tacked them on for painting purposes.
They'll have helmets and helmet options.
But I always got to the point of building or looking at the army lists sort of stage, and I was always hamstrung by not building Thunderwolves or Wolfen because I don't like them.
I don't mind Wolfen, but I don't like the style they went for with the Wolfen design kit.
One thing, Colton D has mentioned him. Neither of you two have mentioned him really, and he's my favourite Space Wolf character. Is Arjak.
Cockfist.
Oh, I fucking love. No, he's my favourite one.
Arjak has always been my favourite Space Wolf, and every time I tried building Space Wolf armies before, Arjak was always the first thing in the list every time.
I fucking love Arjak because he is literally just Thor from Norse mythology.
There's a strong chance I might just buy. It'd be the first time I bought a model outside of an army that I collect. Just to build him a painting.
I'll buy him for you.
Yeah,
but you're not getting your hands on the rest.
I know.
Just buy them all for me.
Because I was saying earlier, I'd love to do Space Wolves.
Yeah.
As an army, I've got bags and bags of spare bits.
Should we just all do Space Wolves?
I can make a sexy Space Wolf army, but at the moment, there's literally no point me doing them because you want to do them. Well, you are doing them, right? Because the boxes get delivered to your house and they won't leave.
Yeah,
right?
they'll never
You're
leave.
doing them. Lee, who did our Space Wolves army, is basically just going to start Space Wolves again.
He's probably going to get an army together the quickest. Let's be honest.
Yeah. So at the moment, there's going to be too many Space Wolves. There are too many Space Wolves in the kitchen.
Yeah. Luckily, I do the scheduling.
So I'm kind of like, you do that. You do your thing in the corner.
Hey, I'm happy playing the new World Eaters Codex. I'm fine with that.
So
I honestly. I can't tell you how happy I am about that release. I've never been so excited for anything in Power Armor before.
So I've got 12 flawless blades. So basically I've nearly finished building and painting everything that exists for Emperor's Children. So what I'll probably do is get them done, take everything home, varnish it all so it all is the same colour, basically, because it's all different various shininesses, and then just make that army just look a bit jazzy. Just go from there.
Too jazzy?
Too jazzy. And then,
well, it looks like you're going to be on the Death Guard.
Apparently, yeah. I mean, I've got an entire Imperial Fist army to build, finish building and paint.
Yeah, I mean, they're less important.
Yeah.
True.
Only because it's just more Space Marines.
And more boring Space Marines.
More Space Marines.
Yeah, but they're not like individual Codex Space Marines. They're just Space Marines that have access to...
They're not a new army, are they?
You know what I mean?
Although, saying that, they might be getting stuff in the future, given the preview stuff they've had.
I think we are going... Because looking at the new Terminators, the Wolfguard ones, I'm like, we're getting Assault Terminators.
So does Games Workshop hate Chaos, or is it just a lottery, Joe? Do you think? Because there's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of rhetoric out there about the fact that they hate Chaos. Chaos never get as much, and you've sort of said this yourself in the past. They don't get as many good rules. They don't get as nice a codex. They don't get as nice units.
I think the problem that Games Workshop have, and I've said it before, is that they don't understand or know what to do with Chaos. The Chaos suffer from, we have a Space Marine line, they always come first because they're our favourite child, right? Our other 13 children, they just live in a closet and get the scraps.
Yeah,
you know?
true.
And then, like, Space Marines get all the things, and Chaos Space Marines are obviously, like, the opposite, right? They're the same but different. So Games Workshop, we need to give them the same rules, but different, you know? And I think that's the...
I think recently they've leaned into just making them way different, though. Like, if
Yeah.
you look at the updates to Death Guard and World Eaters, they've, like, completely changed around all the stat lines for stuff. Like, Berserkers move 8 now.
Yeah.
Plague Marines are T6. Death Shroud toughness 7,
What-
which is insane.
What
I think they're really messing around with it being different to Space
I
Marines
don't mind
now.
it being different, but what Games Workshop don't do at the moment, what they need to do, right, is they need to do like the designers' videos and ideas and stuff
Well,
when they release a book.
I just think that if I look at the Emperor's Children model range, and I look at the Death Guard Codex rules, I think there's evidence that they don't hate chaos. I think the Emperor's Children model range is stunningly good. I really love the Emperor's Children model range.
Yeah.
I don't think there is a bad model. I
No,
think they're all
I think they're all really good.
I was really torn on the Lord Cacophonist until you bought him in built and I was able to pick him up. And again, Games Workshop's photograph team strike again because I looked at it and was like, no, he's cool.
Yeah,
I like
He's
him.
really
nice.
cool. I like him.
I think
Sorry, go
what
on,
they
Jay.
what Games Workshop need to do, right, and this is something that they don't do, and we've all complained about it religiously, and sometimes they do it as like a little tease, and then they never do it again, is they need to do like here's the thing, this is why we've done the thing.
Yeah.
Right? They need to be open.
Comms, communication. Yeah.
Communication. They just need to go, here's the Emperor's Children book. Like, you've all been asking, where are the tanks? Where are the cultists, you know?
Yeah.
If they went, this is a representation of the Emperor's Children, they've just arrived, they're the new kids on the block, Fulgrim's just woken up from his big nap, you know? This is all they've got together. This is the first war. Cultists will come later. They might get tanks or something. If they went, this is what you get now, more is coming.
But
You know?
I do think they've got to be the worst billion-dollar company in the world for communication.
the thing,
Like, it's insane. We never really know what's going on. The roadmap's always like the most vague thing you've ever seen in the world.
It's not a roadmap. If it
Yeah,
is.
I don't
It's
think
just
you call it that.
fucking throw
think you call it
darts at a
roadmap.
board at that point. And then they're like, we will randomly select armies to have random amounts of new units come up.
Well, this
or
is
how
the
it
thing.
seems, and then they don't explain any further than just saying like, here are like 12 new Space Wolves
don't-
things, but one new Chaos thing.
I don't disagree with you, Joe, about your point, but there's wild imbalance.
That's
because
it.
because Emperor's Children got what 8 units. Space Wolves they've now shown more.
Yeah.
They didn't
Space
need
Wolves-
more. I'm happy.
I'm
happy to
I
not
think
win.
it's
That
a
might not
case
even
of-
be all of the Space Wolves.
Exactly.
We don't even know.
It could also be like a numbers game, right? So games where Emperor's Children don't exist. No, didn't exist up until
They're alive.
they don't exist. They haven't existed as an army.
GW like communication. I hardly know her.
Yeah.
They
Not
so Emperor's Children hasn't existed as a formal army up until now.
No.
So there's no numbers on how much they're going to sell or how popular they're going to be, and they're a bit of a Marmite faction in the lore.
Yeah.
You either love them or you fucking hate them.
I think that's most Chaos
Right.
armies, to be fair.
Whereas whereas Space Wolves is a known quantity. They've
Yeah,
got 20 years of sales mapping, so they
Yeah.
know that Space Wolves is a popular army.
And
And
I-
if they do new.
I think.
Space Wolves,
I think it's
sell.
fair to say. I'd love to hear your thoughts, right? But we've got generic Space Marines, okay, and they are generic Space Marines, but they are essentially Salamanders, Imperial Fists, they're Ultramarines. We then have the sort of non-Codex compliant chapters. We have Templars, we have Grey Knights, we have Dark Angels, Blood Angels, and we have Space Wolves.
Yeah.
If we're all being honest, I know you're a big Blood Angel fan, but if we're all being honest, if everyone in this chat's being honest, which is probably the most popular out of all of them and the most loyal of the fan bases? It's probably Space Wolves, isn't it?
wouldn't be surprised if it was Dark Angels.
I know, I reckon it's Space Wolves.
Dark
Angels, I reckon, are close.
Should I look at which Reddit's the biggest?
Yeah, go for it. That'd be
Just
interesting,
check.
actually. I am
I
genuinely
have
interested.
no idea which is the biggest.
It's a tough one, right? Because Space Wolves has been the better. Well, Space Wolves and they've all been. Space Wolves is the oldest plastic kit range, though, right? If I go through my vast knowledge of Warhammer, right, the first games day I ever went to as a kid was when they released the plastic Space Wolves. right? But there was plastic, and they then released the new range. So you had Thunderwolves, you had the plastic, the Grey Hunters, and all that lot.
But before that,
and then you had plastic, and then you had the metal Harold and all that lot. So it's an entire re-release. Blood Angels didn't come out for a while longer after that. So like Space Wolves are the oldest in terms of having newer things.
So,
but they have had to wait the longest.
I forgot you have to be careful when searching Dark Angels on Reddit.
Yeah.
After that little detour, Dark Angels, the Unforgiven, as they're called on Reddit, is at about 45,000.
Yeah.
Space Wolves are about 48,000, and then Blood Angels are at 65,000.
Oh.
So Blood Angels are the big one.
Is that because
So
they're
why do they
the
get a
less...
shit refresh?
I guess they made all their money already.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
They're
like
trying to encourage new people to the other ones.
maybe.
I don't know. Or they would just like shut the bed on it a bit.
I just think
Dark
They did
Angels'
drop the-
popularity was born from the meta, says Prophets of Morkai.
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of people just really like Deathwing
think-
Knights though.
I think
What's
because
Black
like,
Templars?
Dark Angels were the starter box for 2 whole editions for 6th and 7th.
Yeah.
Were they?
But
Yeah.
the box because it didn't sell well enough in the first edition, but
Black
they kept it
Templars
going.
is 51, so that's also more than Space Wolves and Dark Angels.
Space Wolves re-edition for 5th edition. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Space Wolves were re-released during 5th edition. That was my first foray into Games Day.
I would have always suggested that Blood Angels players were more likely to not play Blood Angels than Space Wolves players were likely to not play Space Wolves.
Yeah.
So subreddit size aside, I would have always suggested that Space Wolves players are a little bit more what's
Edgy.
the word? Yeah, kind of,
Edgelords.
but like
Yeah.
I'm a Space Wolves player. You know?
Oh, I thought that'd be more Dark Angels, isn't it?
So like Space Wolves players are very, very similar, I think, mentally to Orc players. Right? Because people that play Space Wolves really fucking love Space Wolves. People that play Orcs really fucking love
They
Orcs.
also, until now, both require a lot of kit bashing.
Yeah, like you have to really care about the Space Wolves is a weird army for you in the sense that you're like your love for Viking culture. Mm-hmm. I thought I'd try and be really rude then, but I won't.
You be rude.
You've got a great love.
I
for
pay you next month,
but you also have a massive disdain for kit bashing.
Yeah.
I don't love it. Unless
Right.
it's a bit of a lie. I have historically kit bashed lots of Space Marines when the kit bashing's quite easy. So
Yeah,
I mean,
mine-
I literally mean kit bashing.
You're
not
like, so you're like a
converting.
fair weather converter, aren't
Yeah,
you?
so when the arms just fit on and the heads just fit in and etc., I'm fine. I love that. I can do that all day long. And old like tactical squads and stuff like that were really easy for it because of the way you would build them. When you have to start cutting bits and changing and shaping and maybe using a bit of green stuff, the second green stuff gets involved, I'm out.
I want to learn I want to do a green stuff course, basically.
We can pay for that.
I want to do that. But I'm one of those people like cut the arm off,
mate.
shove stuff in there, put a new arm on,
It's all about Warhammer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Why not?
I would say that's more converting than kit bashing.
Yeah.
It's like I kind of separate converting and kit bashing off in my head anyway. Kit bashing is take bits of plastic from other kits, glue to bits of plastic from kits, make something that looks a bit different. Converting is when you start slicing, cutting, chopping, trimming, adding green stuff.
Yeah.
And that's
So
why I
feel
would
like
separate them out.
that's very much, I feel like up until now, with the new kits coming out, Space Wolf players have had to do.
Yeah, there was a guy...
Yeah, they 100% have to.
Back in the DZ days, there was a guy called, I think his name on YouTube and on Instagram was Stranger Come Knocking or something like that.
What?
And he, and he used to green stuff his Space Wolves for fur pelts and beards and hair, and it was fucking incredible.
I
what
have
he did.
seen like some insane kit bashes on like Space Wolves pages and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
so if you go and follow...
There's a website called Archie's Forge which does a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah. Honestly,
But the new stuff, you do not have to kit bash any of that.
which makes it perfect for me.
Yeah, same.
All I'm hoping is now is that I like the way they play. Which, if you think about the way Space Wolves should operate,
Have
shouldn't be a
so,
problem.
Have you played their index detachment?
I love it.
It's really good.
I love it.
As long as they keep that one relatively similar to that, I'll be happy.
Chat would have seen me play the Space Wolves Index Detachment a lot
I think
more. If it wasn't the fact that both you and Bron wanted to play it as well. And I'm like, cool,
okay.
I want people to have fun when they're on stream.
I think everyone bar Paddy's played them now.
It's fucking
The
great.
Space
It's a good
Wolves.
detachment.
Channel bike.
It's like Hero Hammer. It's fun.
Yeah, it is
It's
basically...
it's got a bit of everything as
Yeah.
well. Like you can have advanced and charge stuff. you can you got armor against sandwich and maybe.
I do think Space Wolves rules have been written the most narratively in their detachment.
Yeah, it was a bit too narrative at the beginning when you didn't have a detachment rule until you did one of the things.
Yeah,
that was a bit sad.
Yeah,
Good
but
old
they've done.
GW.
It's every update that's come out, major update. Space Wolves have had a rules tweak, and I think they've finally got to a point where they're actually good.
Their detachment, I think,
Yeah.
is slept on quite a lot because
Yeah.
everyone's like, "Oh, 18 Thunderwolf in Stormlands."
Well, that's we don't know what's happening there, but I think
No idea.
Yeah, but I think
I am a little bit worried about Bjorn now because I feel like they've just done the epic hero release thing.
Well, the
and
problem
he
is
was not there.
the problem that Bjorn has is that
I'm
he's
with
a
you.
vehicle,
Yeah,
right? So I can't remember who pointed this out to me, but when I saw it, was that 10th edition, the only vehicle that's been released was the Dreadnought in the starter box set.
Oh,
There have
yeah.
been no vehicle releases in the entire
Thousand
edition.
Suns.
Are they vehicles?
Yeah,
You reckon?
I think so. They look like vehicles.
Well, they're robots.
Yeah, but they
They-
could be.
it's
They
like a
could be
Dreadnought, isn't
obliterators
it?
for all we know, and
They could be
obliterators are
monster
infantry.
keyword as well.
They look like vehicles to me.
But
Maybe I'm wrong.
Obliterators are infantry, and they're basically
Yeah,
the
but
thousands on
the obliterators look like actual biological things, rather with the automaton.
Yeah,
especially from the
maybe.
back, they
Maybe
look like
that'd be a
robots.
vehicle.
Right,
Really?
so we go by what's not been released.
Yeah,
right.
fair.
No vehicles.
Not
Right.
that I can think of.
Right. They Games Workshop had the opportunity to release a Death Company /
What about
Librarian Dreadnought, and they kicked it into the bin.
a Death Company Dreadnought though?
They exist, Joe.
They exist,
That's
but they
the thing.
They didn't release one, though, did they? They released a little skull and crossbones that you
Is
glue
it
onto
a
a
data
Dreadnought.
sheet in the game?
It is a data sheet, but
There
they,
you go.
they didn't
They didn't
release
release
a
the
model.
model, though.
They didn't
True.
release a model. So
They did release a whole upgrade for a model.
Yes.
What about the Guard Artillery dinner plates?
They're not
Infantry.
vehicles.
Are they not?
no,
fair enough.
they're
They-
artillery
they're
infantry keyword.
fucking enormous though. Fair enough.
Yeah, so I think
You're also forgetting about the confirmed upgrade to the
Oh.
Nemesis Dreadnought.
not
There,
again.
There's the R&D funding for vehicles.
There you go. Not
Drop pods, Joe.
Ah, there you go.
no.
The thing no one wanted.
Drop pods. I don't think are vehicles.
Fuck off, a drop pod's not vehicles.
Yeah,
This can't be true, surely. What are they?
but
then?
okay, but it's not been
Beasts?
it's not been released yet.
It's a swarm.
Yeah. They come in
But-
twos now.
But
Drop.
surely that can't just carry on for the whole edition, though, right? It's got to change at
it's
some
the-
point.
It is a
Oh, it does
vehicle.
have the vehicle keyword.
Of course it's a fucking vehicle. What do you think it would be?
Do you reckon it'll change it to a fortification?
No, because it moves,
'Cause that
technically.
would- not that one. It doesn't move because you can't put it on the table. That's why.
But it deep strikes, its
It's,
movement.
basically, the drop pod, I want 2 boxes, and they're going to be relegated to terrain.
I will say they are very good terrain now.
They are great.
They literally come with terrain bits on them.
Dan says Logan lost his vehicle, sad face. I don't think most normal, logical people are
Yes.
upset
Well,
about
that was not a
no
vehicle.
Space Wolf players are sad about that.
I hated
No.
that thing.
It also wasn't a vehicle. I think it was mounted.
Yeah.
Probably.
I think it was mounted.
It was
wasn't
originally a
vehicle.
vehicle. Although it was... no.
He
It
kept
was, and then it became a chariot, which was still it lived in a really good realm where chariots were slightly broken.
Yeah.
Because you could pick when you were shot at whether you take the damage on the vehicle or the rider,
Yeah.
which was the worst decision ever, because everyone was like, "Well, cool, you could fire your bolters at my vehicle, which can't hurt it, and then you could do the stuff that you could fire your las cannons, and you can hit the guy on the back." Kind
I
of
am
thing.
glad that Logan kept his cool wolves though. Like
Yeah.
that was the only cool part about the chariot was having cool.
The way they've done his walls is
They
literally
look
perfect.
so fucking. And is that the biggest tactical rock we've ever seen?
He's the king of
essentially.
tactical
For
rocks.
40k, I
For
think. so, yeah.
for a space
size
marine
of the
character.
Yeah, because in Age of
That Logan.
Age of Sigmar's got a lot of tactical rocks. Like, I kind of want his base with the wolves on to put some of my Soulblight Gravelord stuff on.
Can we have the streamer just staring at that for like a solid hour?
It's one of the first times ever. No, I haven't been a sad twat and decided to be another one of those social media accounts that posts
mate.
the same fucking 5 photos that guess what everyone else does because they're boring and that's the only way they can fucking farm engagement. But it is the first time. I'm a little bit annoyed about that. It is the first time I have saved all of the images to my phone.
I mean,
Banner
why
and
would
Blade.
you?
People don't. It's not that people don't like the drop pod. It's just been very poorly treated by Games Workshop.
I think I think drop pods are really cool, but
Yeah.
the redone thing is
So,
like not really new enough. They've actually taken things off it, which is weird.
I've always been a purist in the sense that the drop pod, when it lands on the table, you should open the doors.
Yeah,
Because if you don't open the doors, you can't get out.
that is fair.
Right. And
Unless you're a
people were
wizard.
literally having the petals glued shut. A, for transport, for B, but for also modelling for advantage, because you can then put it in other places. So it's better that the petals are open because it makes more narrative sense, but its base is too big for it to fit on like a competitive table.
Can we also talk a little bit as well about Nigel Stormcaller, right?
Fucking love
Who a lot of people have glazed over because Arjak looks incredible and is a
love
lot of people's favourite character. Logan has taken, but Nigel, they've taken him out of his
show me Nigel.
They've taken him out of his Terminator armor, right? Which I think, and Lee said it's sad, but I think it's good because I think he'll be able to lead more variety of units.
I like
does
how
look a
they've-
bit like a reskin of the execution guy from Stormcast.
I don't think so.
I
Similar
saw
pose.
a Raven Guard Reddit post. It's like, rejoice, our Primarch has returned.
Yeah.
As this bird.
Talking about the bird, this is where I was going with it, right? When you look at what they've done with the raven on his shoulder, and then you think about poor old Inquisitor Cotius.
Oh yeah. I mean, the stance in this guy is insanely cool as well. He looks like he's about to like summon a lightning storm and kill everyone.
Which is Najar. That's what he
It's
does,
literally
right?
what he does.
He looks like he should be stood on top of a mountain in the rain.
Oh yeah.
But even when
on
you
top
take
of the fang.
when you take the Terminator like Sergeant, he's better than
Everything
I'm going to say
Chaos
it right.
got.
His Terminator Sergeant is better than most of what Chaos got and everything Blood Angels got.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's
Although-
just fucking incredible.
I do think the Sanguine looks cool though.
No, I think he's cooler than
And the
Sanguine.
Marties.
But again, I have strong Viking like.
Actually, I really like the. Oh, fuck, what's his, I've literally kit bashed him. What's his fucking name?
The sculpt for the Sanguinor is fine. It's the pose that.
But look
kills
at the head,
Sanguinor.
Joe. Look at the fucking
Oh,
beard.
mate.
And oh.
You could do a really cool no helmet army with Space Wolves now.
That's what I started. If you look next door at the stuff I started the last time I started, the last time I started Space Force, which was the third time. This will be the fourth time, right? You'll notice that not a single one of them has a helmet.
This will be my third time.
Yeah, but even I think he's cooler than the Space Wolf than the Blood Angels characters. I think he is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, they've absolutely nailed the Viking vibe to a T. Whereas the angelic vibe, they were like, nah, close enough.
Yeah.
I've got a part of my Apple Pictures that says people and pets. It's got my children, my eldest, me, my youngest, my dog, and then Joe
Which one's he?
in the pet section of people and pets.
Well, I am technically people. I
I
think.
want that confirmed.
Yeah, I just think like the amount of effort they went into to building the Space Wolf aesthetic,
Yeah.
right? And obviously, they look like how they should, how everyone wanted it.
that's what it is.
Templars hit the nail on the head with
Astra.
their weird kind of nonce haircuts and stuff. They really went hard on that. And then
Hey, look, if you want to see a non's haircut, look at Black Templars.
and Dark Angels are like, let's have that really cool kind of like old Arthur style knights
But
kind
you-
of
but you-
vibe. And then they were like angels, like they saw Romeo and Juliet, they saw Leonardo
But you know, I
DiCaprio,
think,
and
Joe,
they're like,
honestly,
that's what I want.
What gets me this. So I personally think that Templars, Dark Angels, Space Wolves now are incredible ranges,
Yeah.
and I would be happy to collect all three. And I
Yeah.
I said a little while ago, I was like, I couldn't decide between Templars and Blood Angel, and Dark Angels, and I flip flop, and I settled on Templars as being my favourite
Yeah.
of the two, and they were my favourite of the Space Marine ranges. They've now been pissed all over for me personally, but I am biased towards Viking kind of vibe and Nordic vibe. But they're all great ranges. But do you not think that to some extent, even Dark Angels players, they'll be less pissed off than Blood Angels players because they got beautiful Inner Circle companions, a stunning Primarch, Azrael's great. They've got their chaplain dude,
All their models are like
but they still,
8, 9 out of 10.
but still, Ravenwing, Black Knights, Speeders.
Nah, like Dark Angels players could shut the fuck up. Like, Daddy only got me 27 presents this year
Game
instead
right.
of 28.
Game Right goes, the head designer is a Space Wolf fan.
Oh,
Got to be.
Yeah.
Dark Angels got a
I'm here for
insanely
it.
good glow up in 9th and 10th edition. They got their fucking Primarch back. And it was
Yeah,
awesome.
Dark Angels,
They
I
got
think,
the Deathwing. They got the new sword guys. They got like 4 new characters. Like they fuck off.
But you
Right.
got to think, right? You got to think about the lore. right?
The law.
I love the lore, right?
Are you going to build more Dark Angels?
Am I going to do more Dark Angels? Yeah.
So we can do like Saxons versus Vikings in sci-fi.
Yeah. So I think
That'll
like
be Templars.
yeah. So I think like you got to think about the lore in terms of what people have. Like Blood Angels, realistically, outside of Death Company, only have Sanguinary Guard and Librarian Dreadnoughts, right? Like outside Death Company, so the choice, like Games Workshop's given them what they have.
That is true, actually.
They've just done a really shit job of it.
Yeah.
Right?
Agree.
Templars have been given, lore-wise and historically, everything that they've already had before, but better and nicer.
Yeah, I feel like Templars probably won't get much more this edition.
I can't imagine what they'll get outside of like a Marshal.
Yeah, I think they'll
like
get
a Chaplain model or
as
something.
it's quite a heavy Terminator edition. They might get a Terminator character.
And like so,
cool.
Yeah,
so
like Terminator Marshal, something like that.
Space Wolves, out of all of the armies that exist in 40k, Space Marines are the most divergent from all chapters.
I was saying this morning that to Joe, like Space Wolves already had like double the amount of unique units that everyone else had, so it kind of makes sense they got more.
They have seen a significant decrease. Games Workshop have said at least in their data sheet.
Yeah, they lost like 10 or something.
Yeah.
15, I think.
It's like, and the same for like Dark Angels. Dark Angels have always been Terminators.
Yeah.
Like your difference is you have bikes, but you have more than everyone else, and you have Terminators, which are slightly better than everyone else's Terminators. But the rest, Green Wing, is the same as everyone else.
Yeah.
So apart from maybe needing the Ravenwing updates, they're kind of just the same as everyone. Whereas Space Wolves, I'd like to see when their book comes out, you can't take normal intercessors, you can't take assault intercessers, because you have units that replace those.
But I think they should be doing that, Joe.
Yeah,
I think they should be doing it with every divergent chapter, every non-Codex compliant chapter. I think if you get access to a cool unit, Sandguard, like Deathwing Terminators, you should remove access to another unit to keep that balance.
Templars, Dark Angels, and Space Wolves now theoretically shouldn't have access to Blade Guard.
Agree.
Because they've all got a version of it.
I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, that said, though, Templars, out of all of them, I would probably say Blade Guard is the most generic Templar unit.
Yeah,
ever.
they definitely need Blade Guard on that.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. Like because Paddy likes running his Blood Angels with 3 units of Sandguard and 2 units of Blade Guard, and I'm like, and it's cool, and it is cool, and I love it. But I do think any normal Codex chapter, any Salamanders players, and we're looking, well, I only get Blade Guard.
Yeah.
I don't get a special
Well, that's
unit.
why I want all the generic chapters now to start getting their own units.
But here's a question then for you, because
Please don't give the 3rd tier Space Marine chapter more
I'm
stuff
going
than
to go
Chaos.
for a wee. I'm about to wee.
But I have a question for you.
Go on then.
No, you need to go for a wee.
No, it's fine.
I'll
If
answer
you're
the
about to
question.
wee yourself, go for because it's a Joe Space Marine question.
All right, be back.
I'll say what he would say.
Hold on to the question.
You say what Joe would say. If it's my faction, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that they're winning everything.
Because my faction, I want 50 new units, and they're all terrible.
I have no problem being a Space Wolf Terminator army. They look sick.
I don't. Someone did say there'd be a Terminator army. I don't see that happening because a lot of the new units are definitely not Terminators.
Grey Hunters and Blood Claws and Head Hunters or Head Takers are not.
And the new. Oh, I will say though, when I saw the double-handed axe Terminator guy, that sent me over the edge. That did. That was like, oh.
Actually, those Terminators. Did I grab a picture? I didn't. Those Terminators themselves are quite interesting.
Each one of them on their own looks fucking incredible.
And the reason why I think they're quite interesting. Let me just pull the website up. The reason why I think they're quite interesting is because there's a number of things that has happened. So Joe has on occasion called it the Terminator Edition, right? And we've seen the new Terminators from the Leviathan box set. They then got their own multi-part plastic kit, and what they are is power fists, chain fists, storm bolters, the odd assault cannon, right? What we haven't seen, and I see this has been mentioned in chat a few times by a few people. I think Ash has mentioned it a couple of times. He played Warzone with us yesterday.
Oh yeah.
No assault Terminators.
No, not yet.
But if you scroll into the Space Wolves and you look through the scrolling images that are on this part of it, right? You've got your double-handed axe.
Shield?
You've got your double-handed axe, which is stunning.
Which is the best one.
Right? You've then got a sword and storm bolter. You've then got an axe and storm bolter. The second I saw that, More came
Come
out.
everywhere.
Yep, more came out because I was like, I don't want all power fists.
No.
You then see another Axesmith Stormbolter,
So that'll be the default, won't it?
which looks like that's going to be the standard war gear. You then see a power fist with an assault
Okay.
cannon, and he looks cool as
So
shit.
no one has a shield, most
But
importantly.
when you go down to the leader, it says there with the choice to swap.
Yeah, bruh.
With a choice to swap Stormbolters for beautifully decorated store. Right, here we go. Their immense experience makes these Wolfguard Terminators a deadly and durable force on the battlefield with the choice to swap their Stormbolters for beautifully decorated Storm Shields.
Oh, there it is.
So we're not going to get Assault Terminators, but Space Wolves look like they can take Axe and Shield.
Oh, so full shield wall army.
Full Shield Wall Army, Tom!
Oh my god. I'm going to be very busy.
Do you reckon they'll have more than 3 attacks?
I don't care. They'll have 4 wounds
If they
each.
come out and they piss all over fucking Flawless Blades, I'm going to laugh so hard.
They will, though,
Well, I
because
think-
they're probably just better.
I do think they should probably hit on 2s because they are the King's Guard, aren't they, basically?
Wolfguard are like the top.
It's because all captains are chosen from, or the Wolf leaders
Yeah,
are all chosen
Wolfguard
from
are
Wolfguard.
basically the same as Sandguards
Yeah.
in terms of like level of superiority.
They have got a couple of questionable heads.
Yeah.
But on the whole, they're my most favourite Terminators I've ever seen.
Yeah, but I can't imagine there's great barbers that exist in the Fang.
So my question,
When you say that, they're quite into all the hair stuff.
my question for you now, I've mostly forgotten because you went to the toilet.
So it's about
With
Terminators.
Space Marines and Terminators and
Is
okay,
it-
I remember it now. So my question for you then, Joe, before we jump into the chat, if you've got opinions on this, by the way, feel free to stick it on a postcard. We're about to jump into chat. Say thank you to all the gifteds and thank you for all the super chats. If you do gift 5 or more, Joe will give you a hope as well. My question for you is: I feel like there's a world where we could go down the path of every single chapter getting unique units. So Imperial Fists, Salamanders, etc. Would you be content, however, with each of those units getting perhaps, each of those chapters getting perhaps a character, a Terminator unit, a Blade Guard replacement, so that it's easy for Games Workshop to say, this unit replaces Blade Guard, this unit replaces Terminators, this unit replaces a Lieutenant.
Yeah.
Or, because if you do that, you still have an unbalance with Space Wolves and Dark Ages because there's so many more units. Or do you think that actually it should very much depend on the chapter and be a little bit more complicated, whereby maybe Imperial Fists still get to take Blade Guard because they don't have a Blade Guard equivalent, but they do have an Assault Terminator replacement?
Yeah, I think that's fine. I think I think depending on the chapter is what unit that gets replaced.
Yeah, for
so I
sure.
feel like
Okay.
Imperial Fist should be like a Terminator unit, but then like during the Heresy they had the Axe guys with the shields, so they're also like a good replacement for Blade Guard.
Yeah.
You know, whereas like Raven Guard maybe like a bigger unit of like eliminators, like sniper guys, and then like an assault, like a Vanguard vet unit.
Do you know
So
what,
you
like a
wouldn't-
jetpack unit for
Yeah,
Raven
like
Guard?
But you
like a
wouldn't
better
want to
Vanguard
see
vet
you
unit.
wouldn't want to see a copy paste in each unit that looks unique to
No.
the chapter. Then you would actually want it to be independent.
Yeah,
and-
but I'd like
okay.
to have like a character and then 1 or 2 elite units, and then a decent, and this is the important thing, a decent upgrade sprue.
I think the realistic good scenario for like Salamanders, Imperial Fists, and Raven Guard is like one cool epic hero character and one specific unit for your supplement.
Yeah.
Steady Breck says in chat, which I've not picked up on. I'm about 5 minutes behind, but the article says Codex Space Wolves, not supplement.
Does it now?
Codex Supplement Blood Angels is referenced in the Warcom article when they came out.
If that's correct, which I
Well, where's the
imagine it
picture of
is.
the front cover of the book?
It doesn't have a picture of the front cover of this book. I mean, here's the thing, right? Here's my personal opinion on this. I'm happy for you to all argue with me.
Yeah.
But here's my personal opinion on this. I am a person who thinks that any non-codex chapter should have their own codex and not have a supplement for 2 reasons. Because we can do exactly what we're talking about. You don't have to say this unit replaces Blade Guard if you just don't put Blade Guard in the codex in the first instance. And the second reason is that then means that people that are playing Space Wolves or Dark Angels don't have to buy 2 fucking books.
Well, could you imagine, right?
So, sorry, this does say, like new miniatures will be coming shelves alongside standard release of Codex Space Wolves.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is, though, like, you got to think, like I said, they are super divergent from the rest, whereas Blood Angels are actually quite close to Codex balanced
So
army.
the actual Codex that they showcased at Adepticon,
Yeah.
on the side of it says Codex Supplement Space Wolves.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I'm kind of disappointed though.
I've just been reminded how fucking good these
mate,
are
that
as
guy
well.
The fucking hammer.
Look at these, Joe.
Yeah,
Oh,
the Chaplain
God.
guy's insane.
I'm going to take like 3 months off when that comes out.
So you can literally take like loads of head takers with axes and shield, and then loads of Wolfguard Terminators with axes and
That's
shield.
what I was saying about full shield wall, and then just some random other shit.
Oh.
And all the characters can have shields.
And can take. Oh my God, Joe! There's going to be yogurt everywhere in here.
Full cum.
Yeah.
Oh, you could just do Blade Guard as well if you felt like it, if you wanted more
I
shields.
don't even. I'll be honest with you, right? I will, but I don't even care about playing them. Just the collecting, and this is just such a fucking stunning army.
That's the main reason I want this army is for the aesthetic of it.
Yeah.
I can't really
It
see
is-
myself playing it a huge amount, to be honest.
It's legit and really good. It's so incredible.
Because obviously you tendence towards combat armies as well.
Oh yeah.
So it's very much when you go to tournaments, you obviously want to do well. So
Yeah.
I guess it'd be whatever's the best out of World
Well,
Eaters
I
and
mean,
Space Wolves.
maybe it does. It definitely that does 100% factor
Yeah.
in. I'm not going to pretend that doesn't factor in, but like it's also the play style of the army will massively factor into it.
I want to be Space Wolves main.
Fair. No more Eldar.
I don't care how they play. No, I'll play Eldar.
Eldar in
I
the bin.
fucking love Eldar, but I think I love these more
In
now.
the bin you go.
I love Eldar so much. I think these are my new favourites in the world.
Yeah, they are just insanely good.
Yeah.
And it's a bit sad that we're just talking about that while having 3 Chaos Codexes on the table in front of us.
Oh my God.
But you
I
got-
will say though, despite this Space Wolf gooning that we're going through right now, I am really fucking happy with the World Eaters Codex
you've
at the
got-
moment.
you've got-
Oh, okay, let's touch on this for a sec.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are sad about World Eaters for various reasons, and I will see to them that I was also quite annoyed when I first saw like the army rule and Angron and all that stuff. And also, Warcom just flat lied to everyone when they said the army rule didn't change at all.
Yeah, when they put
When-
that out last week, we were all like,
Yeah, because they were like, oh, the army rule didn't really change for World Eaters. And I looked at the army rule, it's like 50% of the options
Well-
have changed, and also the options that are still there have changed in what value you need to get them.
Technically, they didn't lie. The army rule hasn't changed because it is still the
Okay,
the
you
rolling
still
of the dice.
roll 8 dice.
You
They were right about that. I'll give you
It
that.
hasn't changed in the sense that they haven't made it something different.
It is still
Except-
roll 8 dice, but everything
All the other
else-
words are very
Yeah,
different.
all the other words are quite different.
Well, I think
but
it-
maybe they didn't get that far.
I think Games Workshop have gone into a phase of things and they've not told other people about it.
Yeah.
In the sense that I think there's a very clear difference between book update, range refresh, army release. Now, right?
okay.
So Space Wolves is a range refresh,
Yes.
whereas World Eaters is a Codex update.
Yeah, true.
Whereas Emperor's Children.
Emperor's army release.
yeah.
Right. So I think like these things exist and they're all jumbled in together, and I think that's why we've ended up in situations where we're like, Games Workshop hate these factions. Well, no, these factions had the range refresh already, you know, or the army release.
Yeah, I did message my guy at Games Workshop and said whoever did the Space Wolves design, it should be promoted immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so
He was like,
World
"You're
E-
excited then?"
World Eaters Codex, I will give everyone, I'm real sad about Angron. We had a good couple of years with him,
He's still better
but
than Fulgrim.
he's probably a little bit better than Fulgrim, but it's not a fun race there, is it, for the two
No,
of them, is
it's
it?
the problem. That
They're racing to the bottom.
I did find it funny though when I went into Games Workshop on Saturday, and because I wanted to get some Lord Cacophony, right? The Games Workshop store, bearing in mind it's the only character that can join Noise Marines, and lots of people already own a lot of Noise Marines. They only had 3 come in to sell off the shelf.
I imagine they went instantly.
They sold. Basically, he said there was a queue of people to get those models at the door, right? They received 6 Fulgrims. I went in at 1:00 in the afternoon. They had sold 0 Fulgrims. And I'm like,
I wonder why. Is it because every streamer has tried to run them and he's done nothing in every game?
Here's a
Yeah.
question: do you think Fulgrim is bad, or do you think people haven't worked out how to use him?
I think he's bad.
I think he's just.
I think
So he is too many points, and he does not. And his rules do not represent what he should be.
I think
because as his current level in terms of what he does on the table, you need to drop his point. You need to drop him by 100 points.
I think if you look at him as a person who's going in there to fucking, and Warcom didn't help this. I think if you look at him as a person who's going in there to solo knights and throw fucking Titans across the table, he's just going to do that very badly the whole time.
He can't.
He'd probably solo a little knight.
If you look at him as an elite infantry killer, and stuff like that, I think he's actually not that. I think he's pretty good. I think his points are too high. I do think his points are too high. I think his points need to come down a little bit. But I think he looks cool. I think he looks rules wise. I think he looks cool.
Rules wise, he looks. His on the paper, he's all right.
He will struggle to kill 5 Terminators.
He will struggle to kill 5 Terminators. As we discovered today, it takes him 2 rounds of combat to kill 1 Forge Fiend, which means that at the same level he's going to struggle and get quite hurt by an Armiger Warglaive.
Can you imagine Fulgrim trying to kill new Death Shroud?
He just can't do it.
He might kill 1.
He can't. He just can't do it. And new Death Shroud are toughness 7.
They're toughness 7.
So he still wounds them on 2 because he's 14.
4 wounds each. And in one detachment, you can spend a CP to give them +2 toughness.
Yeah.
They become toughness 9.
Yeah, so he's wounding them on 3s. And you can't use the D6 +1 damage versus them because you can't guarantee 1 dead.
No, not at all.
So he has to use a sweep profile. And if they go up to toughness 9, he's wounding them on 5s. Right? He can't kill. Well, he struggles in the 1v1 because he's got the same. So if you compare him to Lucius, right? Lucius is weaker because he's only touch strength 8.
He's a little boy.
He's -3. Fulgrim's -3. Lucius is flat 3 damage, which I'd prefer to have. They both have 6 attacks. But Lucius re-rolls all hits and wounds versus character units. And
walker units. And walkers.
And walker units. And he's got a built-in feel no pain. And if he's on his own, he fights first with lone op.
Yeah, the lone op's massive as well.
And Fulgrim has got a great stat profile because he's a land raider with a 4-up invuln. But
he's 1 less toughness.
But anyone that's run a land raider knows it dies immediately. Because everyone brings enough stuff to kill a land raider in 1 turn.
Do you know my biggest problem with Fulgrim? Do you know my biggest problem with him?
Base size.
The base, yeah.
I noticed in chat someone said, "Why don't you just deep strike him?" And then you look at the fucking dinner plate he's on.
There is literally, if you look at the model, which is fucking beautiful, by the way. If you look at the model, I don't think there's any reason why he couldn't be on the same size base as every other Demon Primarch.
There's no reason should be on 130. It's mental.
That base size is insane. So Joe even pre-ordered a 100mm base in the same style as the rest of the Emperor's Children that we got the bases for, all from Unreal Wargaming, and they're stunning, by the way. They're so good. And I'm now thinking about what the fuck I put Wolves on. Anyway, Joe went and ordered that base, and when it turned up, we got the base out for Fulgrim, and both of us were like, "What?
Yeah, I remember.
What the fuck is this?"
Yeah. So when me and Tom played earlier, because he wanted to practice for tonight.
Yeah.
There was only one place in my deployment zone I could put him on the table.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is a problem.
And especially because World Eaters can shoot now.
And obviously, we showed off when we played him the other day with the Eldar. You can move block him so easily.
Yep.
He can't charge most of the units he wants to kill.
Yep.
It's that base size is insane.
It's a problem.
Yeah.
It's genuinely, it might genuinely be his most limiting factor in the game.
I think it is. Especially with competitive terrain layouts.
Yeah.
I think Games Workshop.
Terrain layout.
I love Fulgrim. I think the model is stunning.
Yeah.
I think the rules are cool. I think the only thing I don't like about his rules in general is literally his base size, and he's a bit overcosted.
I think he should hit harder than he does.
Competitively,
I would agree.
Competitively, he's not seeing the table.
You've never been honest. He's 100 points too much. Okay, I'd say 50 points minimum drop.
100 might be a bit much.
A 50-point drop on him would do him all right.
If he went down to like Greater Demon points range, I think he'd do okay.
You know, he's
which is a 100-point drop.
Who's currently cheaper than him? Mortarion.
Mortarion is cheaper.
That can't be. No.
He's the same points as Angron.
Mortarion's cheaper than him and fucking claps him.
Mortarion's become like the best Primarch in the game.
Angron
Talk about a glow up.
Angron has the same profile line as him, but Angron has more attacks in combat.
Angron is slower.
And is stronger. I think Fulgrim, if you're not going to make him D6 plus 2, because obviously you don't want him to be as strong as Fulgrim, give him more attacks. So his output should be higher.
I think he should be D6 plus 2.
Mortarion, he's toughness 12.
Yeah.
With a 2 up, 4 up, 16 wounds. And he also has a 5 up feel no pain.
Yeah, Angron is slower.
So he's already tougher now, right?
Yeah.
And then if you think he's got probably a better gun.
Well, so Fulgrim's one is
a
a 12-inch range
definitely
whip,
better.
which is 6 attacks, strength 8, -2.
They buffed the
So Lantern is pistol, sustained hits D3, one shot, 24-inch, hitting on 2, strength 10, -3, 3. But sustained D3. He also has Rotwind, which is a D6 plus 3 blast that has dev wounds, lethal hits, hitting on 2s at strength 7, -2, 1.
Yeah.
He also has his... So you have 6 attacks, but Mortarion only has 5 attacks.
Yeah.
Hits on 2s, strength 14,
Same.
-3,
Same.
D6 plus 1.
Yeah.
I don't have sustain though.
Yeah.
I do have lethal and dev wounds.
Yeah.
And you can just get sustained in detachments.
And then you can
Yeah,
also
he
just
gets
go.
it.
You can also just go to sweep profile instead, which is 15 attacks hitting on
So
2s.
one more than Fulgrim.
Strength 8
think-
-2, with lethal and sustained.
I don't think you ever do strikes with him.
But you need to remember, right? Everyone that stood within 3 to 9 inches of him is -1 toughness and -1 save.
-1 toughness, definitely.
Yeah.
-1 save is a choice.
Yeah.
Probably -1 save, depending on army.
Because
but-
what you can also do, which Fulgrim doesn't get, is you can go your whole army's -1 to hit all the
Does
time.
he still do an aura of mortal wound spam as well?
Yeah. So what you can do is you
wanted to talk about his auras.
for contagion, you can pick 3 things. So you can pick -1 to their save. You can pick -1 to hit all the time when you're in contagion range.
Yeah.
And bear in mind that nowadays a Plague Marines unit can shoot a unit and then in contagion.
Yeah.
And you can also go for -1 OC, -1 leadership, -1 move, I think it is. But he also has Host of Plague. So you have to hit someone and they become poisoned.
Yeah.
With this one, what happens is at the end of your movement phase, roll 1d6 for each enemy unit within 6 inches, adding 1 if the enemy unit is afflicted, which from the second back round you're going to be because you're in range of Mortarion, right? On a 3+, enemy unit suffers D3 mortal wounds.
Yeah.
Whereas we saw this morning, much worse on Fulgrim.
Much worse for Fulgrim because he has to shoot them and then you have to, or fight them, and then in the next command phase, if they're still alive, you have to roll a dice, and on a 4+ they take D3 more.
And then you look at his choose one of 3 auras, and it's just fucking insane.
So your entire army could be -1 to hit. Fulgrim has to pick it in your command phase.
And that's just for him.
But then if he does that, he can't fight first.
There's also a detachment for this one. So the 3 things I just told you can do in contagion. There is a detachment where each battle round you could just change your contagion.
That detachment is the best detachment.
It's fucking incredible.
Because that's
It's
the
really
one where you
good
can
to
also be like, lol, toughness 9 Terminators. Or toughness 8 Plague Marines.
Why not?
Because also, can we talk about the Demon Prince on foot is toughness 12 in Death Guard? That's insane.
With load up.
Loan up and 3 strats, I think, as well.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Mortarion's a fucking baller now.
Death Guard, they are reaping the benefits of being shit at the start.
Yeah, I think like in a match between the 3 of them, I think Death Guard just win
Like, if
most of the time.
Death Shroud Terminator might genuinely be too good now. Because they also have a sweep attack now. Do you know how many attacks they have each?
Typhus is also mental, by the way.
Typhus is mad good, but he's doing knitting all the time. He does all his macrame, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a bit busy, isn't he? Where have they gone? Where are the good people?
Yeah, I bet Mortarion can't kill a Warhound, though.
Do you want to know how many sweep attacks the Death Shroud Terminator has?
5 each?
8.
8?
8 sweep attacks each.
Yeah.
And strength 4, AP 1, damage 1 with lethal hits.
Hit on the 2s?
Hitting on 3s,
Oh, okay.
to be fair, but there's a character you can put with them that gives them lance sustained hits as well. So you have lance sustained hits, lethal hits.
Yeah. And what's their
8
strike?
attacks each. The strike is 4 each at 822, hitting on 2s. With lethal hits, obviously.
What your Flawless Blaze wish they had.
Honest.
And they also just deep strike 6 now, if you want.
Yeah, and they can charge. There's no restriction.
Yeah, or you just rapid ingress them in 6, and they move 5.
DG might be a problem, chat, by the
I
way.
think Death Guard will be very, very strong. Like, what's interesting though, like World Eaters and Emperor's Children now, outside of Demon Detachment, struggle for units that deep strike.
Yeah.
We got Exalted, but I'm not
Oh no,
taking
you've got
anymore.
Exalted Terminators and Demon
Honestly,
Princes.
I am slightly concerned DG might be a problem. We'll see what happens.
I think
I'm
they-
drinking too much water today. I had a bang.
I don't really know what points are on
It's like 10 minutes ago.
It got to about 7. It got to about 6, 7 o'clock yesterday when I realised all I drank all day was 1 pint of squash and a coffee,
Yeah.
and I had the worst headache ever.
I'll do that. Be
Uh,
dehydration.
where I overcompensated in the evening by drinking multiple pints of water, and then this morning drank all the water and I've had a couple fizzy drinks, and now my body is fit to just. You know, in the first X-Men film where he turns to water and it disappears through the drains.
Yeah.
That'd be me.
Okay, well, you go then.
Yeah.
I'll start talking to chat and saying thank you for the things.
I just
and
want to
stuff.
say, if Typhus and 3 Death Shrouds sweep, they have 36 attacks between them.
It's good, isn't it?
That is quite good.
Typhus is a baller as well, by the
He's
way.
real fucking good.
Yeah, he might actually give Lucius a run for his money.
Might. Nah.
Might.
It's close.
It's
Khan's there as well.
well, Khan's all right. I
Khan
think.
is actually, I do like Khan.
I think Khan's decent. I think Khan's problem is I'm big sad that he doesn't auto fight on death, but I do like the stand back up.
I really like it, especially you can do a funny thing in Demonkin where he dies the first time, you're like, lol, bloodletters go, and then he gets back up next to them as well.
Yeah.
So he is pretty spicy.
I like him. Anyway, you people have been having your opinion as well. Thank you so much for all the gifted and super chats so far. We're on 82 new members right now. We're only 18 away from hitting that big 100. Thank you, incredible people. We've got 60 quid for super chats to get through as well. We are also at 475 people watching
hell.
with just 176 likes. If you're enjoying the conversation, if you're enjoying the show, please make sure you've hit that subscribe button and please make sure you hit that like button as well. I appreciate you all. You're all wonderful humans. Before the stream got started, big thank you to Star Pilot 94 and Doug Lyle for the gifted membership each. You're amazing. Star, thanks for
you.
hanging out this last weekend. Came all the way over from America land to come and do some hobbying here.
Yeah, I heard it was a good weekend.
And proceeded to clap Joe's cheeks with Custodies.
Well, that's not good, is it?
Lord of Cinder, thank you for the $5. Thoughts on the new codices, and if one would kit bash the new World Eater's character, what base size would one use?
50 mil.
Is he 50 mil?
Yeah, he's a big lad.
I didn't know the answer to that one because it's currently sat in Joe's garage.
Yes, which is sad times for me. So you won't be seeing him too soon.
If you're going to kit bash the new character and you want more than one, get 3 50mm bases,
Yep.
1 box of 8 bound, 1 box of Chaos Possessed, go.
Yes, there's a channel called The Red Path, which did a really good guide on how you can kit bash those 2 boxes into having, I think it's like 5 8-bound and 3 the new character guy.
Yeah.
So if you go look at that channel, they'll tell you how to do it. But yeah, that's the best shout for that one.
It is, that's how you do it, and you put them on 50mm bases, and
I think he's good.
I'm a World Eaters fan. I like World Eaters, I do. I think I'm becoming more of an Emperor's Children fan than a World Eaters fan, just because model
really?
range, but I love World Eaters. Looking at their boxes they've released, the Death Guard box, the big Battle Force, incredible
It's
value.
insanely good.
If you're starting World Eaters, the World Eaters box, incredible value.
Yeah.
If you want the new character, don't buy that box. Buy what we've just said, Kit Bash 3.
Yeah, 100%.
Because I personally think he is not a model that's worth paying for. If you buy 3 of him, you're probably going to end up spending more when he comes out solo than a box of 8-bound and a box of Possess, where you can make 3 and have bits left over.
Yeah, if you just want more 8-bound and the new cool guy, just get Possessed in 8-bound and kit bash.
That's what
Is
I
he
would
on a
do.
bigger base?
50
50
mil.
mil.
Supposedly.
Can you not just
He is.
buy 3 8-bound and just give him whatever arms you want?
Yeah.
You
And just put them
can,
on a
but it's
bigger
a
base.
bit boring.
Yes.
I mean, he's
so,
a bit
So
boring.
strictly speaking...
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying.
Strictly speaking, you could just make 3 8-bound and put them on 50 mils,
Yeah.
and they could be... it's fine.
Or,
and
to be fair-
they'd look fine.
Given how being a Twin Link Sergeant Man means nothing anymore for Exalted 8-bound, you could just take all the guys with Twin Link Chain Fist and be like, he's my character
Yeah,
now.
or the lacerate is the big thing on the stick.
You just put them on a 50 mil and you could do
Yeah.
that. You don't need the Possessed. The Possessed mean you can get the model closer to the version. Someone said something in chat which is interesting, by the way, right?
What was
The
it?
Eater Plague is a psychic ability that Typhus has.
that
This
got
psyker can
good,
use this
didn't it?
ability in your shooting phase. If it does, select one enemy unit within 18 inches of and visible to the psyker. They had to FAQ this before because it meant you could snipe Lone Up. But back to this rule, we can snipe Lone Up again.
Good.
Pick an enemy unit within 18 inches of what's visible. What happens is on a 1, he suffers D3 mortal wounds in his unit. On a 2 to 5, the enemy unit suffers D6. On a 6, the enemy unit suffers D3 plus 3 mortal wounds.
It's mad, isn't it?
So he can walk up to Lucius and be like, bang, you've lost 6 wounds already.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to come and fight you.
Well, if he loses 6, he's dead.
Has he only got 6?
He got 6.
6 is quite a lot for a Space Marine character.
Yeah, so he's got he's a 6 wounds, 2 up save, 4 up invalid, and a 5 up feel no pain. So he's actually quite tough.
He's quite similar to the new 8-bound character, actually. He's got 6 wounds, toughness 6, 5 inbound, 5 for the pain, I think.
Yeah.
Typhus has got 6 wounds, toughness 7 with a 2 up, 4 up.
Only 6 wounds, though.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird.
Oh no, Lucius toughness 5. It's good.
Yeah, that is good.
He also has 6 attacks that hit on 2s at strength 9, -2, flat 3 damage with lethals. And if you're in contagion range, you're -1 a wound.
He is good, 100%.
It's fucking incredible.
I actually do think all of the Chaos Champions are good now. Like, genuinely.
Well, I wanted to see what Aramin's does.
Oh, yeah, I
now.
have no idea what Aramin does.
So-
He's good at the moment, though, isn't he?
He's okay right now, yeah.
I've seen
I
him
don't
quite
think
a
he's
lot.
quite as good. He's more of a
forgot
force
about
multiplier
that,
though,
Sons.
because he gets like a couple extra cabal points and stuff. Evan Manello, thank you for 5 gifted memberships.
I hope, Evan, that when you buy some chocolate eclairs, like the chocolate bit, the strip on the top, doesn't just stick to the inside of the box.
Oh,
That's
strong.
So annoying.
It's very annoying. Sprugly, thank you for the $5. Beautiful, especially Logan. Everything I wanted in new walls. For the All-Father, a woo!
Woof.
I'll be doing lots of a woos. Do a woos annoy you as much as was?
No, we were wooing. When we did it already. When we were doing playing Space Wars, I was wooing.
We were wooing.
Ron was, How'd
you feel about an woo?
I was doing what does Shakira does, like she's a she-wolf in the closet.
Oh,
Honestly, they are fucking incredible. They're so good.
I think
so good.
genuinely best model range now.
Do you reckon Shakira plays Spaceballs?
No.
No?
Well, there's quite a lot here,
I
actually.
mean, maybe, but you never know.
Thank you, Sam Deacon, for the $5. As a Blood Angels collector, I'm saltier than the Dead Sea about new Space Wolves. How's Tom feeling about World Eaters?
It's good I like Space Force, I'll say that, because otherwise I'd be just untethered for my rage at this point.
But the Codex is, I think...
Oh, no, to be fair, I really like this new Codex. I think what they've done with it, they've made us quite a lot slower with a lot of units, because obviously no more advance in charge, but they have, generally speaking, increased the damage output, because all of the good blessings you want now are stuff like sustained hits, lethal hits, dev wounds, all of that stuff. So it's a bit of a slower army, but you're going to hit harder, and you have genuine shooting options to make it a bit more interesting now as well. So gone are the days of just fucking 18 Exalted 8-bound in every single list I ever see. And now I think there are at least 3 or 4 detachments that you can genuinely play and do well with.
Yeah.
And they are all really different plays.
The Codex got leaked online, and we've refused to talk about it, as we always will. And a lot of the people in the internet worlds, the instant rage bait lunatics that just like to cry immediately if their thing isn't the most broken thing in the world. And I saw this all over the World Eaters Facebook pages. I'm selling my World Eaters. If this is true, this is the worst thing ever. I'm selling everything. And I was like, have you read the same book that I have?
Yeah.
Or are you just a no skill? I'm taking advance and charge everywhere, feel no pain everywhere, and I'm just gonna table you turn 1.
I'll be honest. When I read you can fuck off, Joe. Who just won the game?
You did.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think.
But yeah, when I first read it, I'll be honest, I was annoyed we lost advance and charge. But then I looked at the things we were gaining, and I was like, okay, I can live with this. I'm sad Angron's shit now, but he did have 2 years of being auto-include, so I'll take that.
So I'm going to say something controversial.
No.
I'm glad Angron and Fulgrim are shit. I would rather Mortarion was a bit shit and hope that Magnus was a bit shit, because I would like to see less Primarchs on the table all the time.
I'll be honest, Scarbrand's a new Angron.
Yeah, I just would like to see less Primarchs.
Yeah.
I think when you go to, if you went to a 200-person event and there's 20 World Eaters players and 18 of them have got Angron, it's like, oh. I like to see more variety.
I get what you're saying with that, but I also think it's a bit shit to beat someone like, you're not allowed to play Angron because I'm playing Angron.
It's not about not being allowed, but it's about it being a taste choice rather than an auto take.
Oh no, I want him to be a competitive option, but I don't want him to be auto include.
Yes, and I have no problems. Like for me, if I was collecting Emperor's Children, which I still might in the future, I'd buy Fulgrim. As a centerpiece to my army. But not to play.
Yeah.
And in all seriousness, looking at the model, I wouldn't want to fucking transport him anywhere anyway.
Oh god, no. Jesus Christ.
He is not a model you want to take.
He's a stay-at-home Primarch.
Yeah, he is a stay-at-home Primarch.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm happy. I'm generally happy with the Codex. I've only tried the index attachment today so far, which we'll be doing later as well. I really want to do the Demonkin one because I think they've actually done a good job with the Demon attachment there.
I think the Demon attachment is very good.
Blood type on that is a little bit weird. It's quite difficult to get blood type points on it from the look of it because you have to kill something and then roll a 3 up to actually get blood type, which I'm a little bit sad about that, but there are ways around it with strats, enhancements, and stuff like that.
Okay.
But I think it'll be fun.
Ash, thank you for the 2. Thoughts on heavy blight bloat drones? Bring 3. Yes.
Yeah. Have you seen the stats on those?
Oh, I want to have another look actually because I remember looking at that being like, what?
They are.
The drones are very good.
And not only that, they split the drones out so you could take 3 flesh ones and take 3 blight drones.
You can make, what are they calling it? A plague storm list, like Ironstorm, but with fucking Nurgle, and just put all the demon vehicles in it.
The answer, Ash, is yes.
Yes.
They do a good job. They do.
I think that all the drones. Are just
I think
really,
the Mephitic Blight Horde is pretty fucking good as well.
They're spicy.
You've got 10 wounds. Jesus Christ.
And they can come in units.
Fetid Bloat Drone. Oh.
Are they still the Rombas still going units? Yeah.
Yeah. You can have 2. No, you can have 1 or 2. Yeah.
That's right.
And they get +1 to hit and wound against vehicles and monsters.
And I was just gonna say,
it is interesting how they're reducing all the vehicles units of 3 down to 2.
I think it's good.
I think it's good.
Yeah. I think having weird squads of vehicles is not about that.
If you look at the Blight launch though, on the one that's not the Flesh Metal one, it's got a pretty spicy profile.
The Plague Spitter. No, Heavy Blight Launcher, 36-inch range, D6 plus 2 attacks, strength 10, AP2 damage 3. That is fucking good. Especially,
it's really good.
What you've also got to contextualize, weird weapon profiles are weird in Death Guard because you've also got to think, will this also be shooting something that's -1 toughness and -1 save?
Yeah.
Because then it's essentially AP3 and probably essentially almost +1 a wound as well.
And this is where I think units of, because you can still do this with Death Guard, units of 5-man Plague Marines is quite important.
Yeah.
Because they can shoot something 24 inches away. And as long as they hit it's in contagion range. It becomes afflicted.
God, imagine me able to take 5-man units. Yeah.
But you can also take 7-man units.
I tell you what they've done well with the Chaos Gods books is they've actually made battle line good enough that you want to take them. I feel like they dropped the ball a little bit on the Berserkers, meaning you have to take 10. But but Emperor's Children, battle line are all good.
The most
Death Guard
important thing, you could take 7 Plague Marines, one of the numbers of Nurgle, and you can take 3 Blight Lords, one of the numbers of Nurgle.
Why is 3 one of theirs?
Why is 3 a number?
Because it's the 3.
Oh, yeah.
So you can literally, you can take...
It
annoys me you can't take 8 Berserkers, 6... You can take 6 Noise Marines, you can't take 9 currently rubrics.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, no, it's 9 rubrics and a sorcerer.
Yeah, but it's all to do with... Yeah, but still. No. Wrong. Rambo, thank you for the $10. How happy is Mr. Summer about the mental Juggerlord and Blush Crunner unit shenanigans?
Now that's a spicy combo, that is.
I know.
Because they like to share things with each other when they're in units. So that unit gets the Blessings of Khorne and all the funny demon things. So it gives... The Mortal Wound things are the same.
It's only an enhancement though, isn't it?
Yeah.
And enhancement allows you to join
Enhancement allows you get one really cool unit essentially where it already moved 10, so that rule doesn't matter.
Nice.
But then they all have fight within 3 inches of anything they want. They have the 7 dice 4-up do mortal wounds because obviously the Lord of Jog adds the dice to that.
Yeah.
Then they have whatever Blessings of Khorne you've got going at the time because the Lord on Jog has Blessings of Khorne and gives it to the unit.
Nice.
You then get all the blood type abilities that you have going on because it's demon and world eater stuff at the same time. And you just use any fucking strat you want because it has both keywords.
It's a bit of a Death Star.
Did the Renmaster make it in?
No, we don't get that. That might have been a bit much.
That would have been insane.
Yeah.
That
unit would be mental.
That detachment might have just become another Khorne Demons detachment at that point.
Basically, a lot of people looked at that World Eaters Codex and went, "Oh, I'm really sad and depressed. I'm selling my whole army." And I was watching Tom's reaction, reading it, and I was like, "I don't think it's that bad."
No. What we've got to think is our play style has shifted quite drastically. We are no longer yeet everything turn one, hope for the best, maybe win. It's now like actually stage up, actually have some shooting, actually have more MSU style for the most part, and like just play the game a bit more normally.
Have you talked about Forge Fiends yet?
Oh, Forge Fiends are really
when I
goddamn
read the
good.
rules, I was like, they've lost a lot in terms of their oppressiveness, but their shooting is wild.
World Eaters shoot pretty fucking good now. Forge Fiends, so like they're still 36 in range, D3 shot, strength 10, AP 3, damage 3. We shoot worse now actually, we only hit on 4s. But we have blast rapid fire 1 on each one of the guns.
Yeah.
And each time this model makes a range attack, the closest eligible unit within 18 just re-roll hits.
That includes Overwatch.
That includes Overwatch.
Yeah, so if someone charges you, they're very efficient Overwatch.
So like these will just kill like any 5-man unit in the game basically.
Yeah.
And like comfortably. They are really fucking good. Chaos Land Raider I think is kind of good now because the Las Cannons have rapid fire too.
Yeah.
And there's a detachment where it's transport based, so like 8-bound getting at a Land Raider get +1 a charge and Lance. Like there is some legit good stuff in here. I do think points are potentially too high on some of the units because we are a lot squishier now with no feel, no pain. But other than that, I'm happy.
There we go. Farmer George, thank you for the £7. Based on these chaos shenanigans, I'm going on a whim and say they'll do something ridiculous like split orcs from grots and make 2 separate armies. Nah, I think you're fine.
I think you'll be okay given how there's literally only Gretchen.
Yeah.
That's it.
It is odd what they've done with demons. I don't understand this decision to remove demon allies from generic Legion books.
It doesn't.
I
think they wanted to get rid of demons.
I don't have an issue with them going because what I've been saying is that because obviously they gave them the summoned keyword, which means literally nothing in the grand scheme of things. It has no associated abilities.
Is that in
or
these ones?
check them, but they might still have the summoned keyword.
I just don't get it. I don't.
Yeah.
Just,
They got so
We got summoned.
they
in
just
here.
need to FAQ them and say because it would have to be an FAQ for each book. And because they're not part of the demons anymore,
What?
and say you can take 500 points of summoned demons with your army, but they do not receive your army benefits.
But what I don't understand about it, so here's my theory behind it as well, because it is sad that they've done it. And here's my theory behind it is it's yet again another focus on competitive play. And the reason why I say this is because why would you remove the amount of combination and options a faction can have if not to improve the balance? Because allowing extra demons as allies is an incredibly narrative choice.
Yeah.
Allowing World Eaters in a Berserker Warband to add 500 points of demons. Now, you are losing out if you're not taking the specific Demonkin detachment.
you don't get rules.
Because you don't get stratagems, you don't get detachment rules.
Yeah.
You just gain demons as allies, and you maybe could take a Rendmaster as well as some Bloodletters because you're then opening it up to the wider Demon Codex of Khorne options. Narratively, no one's got a problem with that. It's got to be a balance thing. It has to be.
Yeah, but when you look at any of the Space Marines,
The whole Imperial factions.
if you look at Space Marines, or even Guards and stuff, you could have a Space Marine army that has an Inquisitor, an Assassin, and a unit of Grey Knight Terminators, and an Imperial Knight.
Yeah, you can.
and Sisters of Battle.
Yeah, which I think is nonsense, but you know.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it's nonsense. I think it's fine
I think it's cool.
But-
if you don't take the demon stuff away as well.
Yeah.
So Space Marine players, or Imperial players, are playing with 3 books, right? Allowing World Eaters or Emperor's Children or Death Guard to use 500 points of the demons that are in that book should be fine.
There is a lot of print space taken up in these books for one detachment.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and you've got to think, right? These these demonettes, these bloodletters are different to the Khorne demon ones or to the normal demon codex ones. So you can point these different to those, and that's where your balance is.
Yeah, I
It's
agree.
like the bloodletters are less points in this
Yeah.
than in normal demons.
Yeah, the demonettes in that one are the same points as normal demonettes and equally shite.
Sucks.
Well, these are probably worse.
Ben, thank you for the $9. I now have to have a Wolfguard army, which is going to be expensive. I pray Bjorn remains to welcome his Primarch back.
Oh, I am really hoping Bjorn stays.
So, I really want Bjorn to stay. If I had a perfect world, he would have his own Redemptor-sized kit.
Yeah,
It is
same.
his own kit. It isn't a stick-on bit to make it a Death Company Dreadnought. Then my second option would be that he just keeps his current kit because I like it anyway. What I think is going to happen is I think they'll lose Bjorn.
I think he'll go away and come back next edition.
I would trade every other thing that they haven't shown yet to keep Bjorn.
I probably would. I think he'll go away.
I think next edition will be the things that are on wheels and tracks. I think next 11th edition will be the vehicle edition.
And leggies.
Yeah, I was going to say Bjorn's not on wheels or tracks, Jay. Yeah. Unless they
On
Lord of
legs.
Skulls him.
Well, I would have said legs, but you'd be like, oh, Space Marines have legs. Guards have
Tracks of
legs.
Bjorn coming.
Yeah.
Mechanical legs. Oh, Iron Hands have mechanical.
There's no winning.
Biblical Nipple, thank you for the $5. Considering Logan has come back with 2 wolves a la Russ, I think it's an intentional sign he's not coming back next edition or Russ is changed. I agree. I think that, because if you think about Logan as a pose, if you would have taken that exact pose with the wolves and the giant tactical rock, and you'd have put Lehman Russ on there instead, it would have made sense. It works, right? There's no way they're going to do that twice with the same pose.
Well, you got to think, right? I don't know the deep lore, like, did Lehman Russ go into, because he went into the warp, didn't he? Chased
Yeah,
it.
he went into the war.
But did he go in with his dogs?
No,
Right?
probably not.
In which case, those dogs would have to have lived on Fenris for 10,000 years.
I mean,
I don't think they'd be alive.
I think,
Well, you definitely couldn't teach them new tricks.
No.
no. Apart from lay down.
Yeah. Lay down. Yeah.
Very old dogs.
Yeah, lay down, play dead. Very good at that. But
I'd be surprised if he did come back with his dogs. Let's be real. Like, I think if he came back, he'd probably just come back with the cool spear. Is it Apollonian spear or something like that?
the Apollonian spear was...
Is that Constantine Valdor's? Which one's which?
Valdor had the Apollonian spear, and the spear of Telesto, that was Sanguinius's.
The
I
one,
can't remember
the one
the
that
name
he
of-
uses in Wolfsbane, where he like
Stabby
shanks,
Pokey.
Yeah, he shanks Horus,
Yeah.
and Horus is like, "I'm still a prick," and then they carry on.
I just don't care now
Roger says Magnus killed them.
because I like Logan so much. I don't care
He
about.
probably would kill them.
I don't care.
I still want Liam Russ. Liam Russ is cool.
I don't care. I don't care about
Dog
Primarchs.
Nauts.
I don't care about Primarchs. Thank you, the Biblical Nickel, for the 5. Thank you, Kazarian, for the 5. Space Wolf, 9 full units. Even Eldar only got 8. Guard got 14, but several repeats. Tau got 11. Emperor's Children 8, with 2 squads being the same kit. Emperor's Children, World Eaters. No, what's the other EC? I guess he means Death Guard World Eaters 1 each. CSM 3.
Does he got 3? I thought he got 2.
CSM got 3. What does the
Oh,
CSM get?
Direct Claw? No, wait.
No.
The what's the claw? The
So you've got the
Night
Nemesis
Lords?
Claw, which is a
Kill team.
A kill team, so their rules aren't in the book. They got a Lord
2 Lords.
on foot and a Lord with a jump pack.
So
Yeah, I thought they
strictly
got
they
2.
got 2.
They got 2.
World Eaters also technically got their kill team, which is in the book.
Which
but,
is interesting,
like,
isn't it? Because they must have known that kill team has been coming for a while then.
Yeah, they would have, wouldn't they? 'Cause
Yeah.
they printed it, obviously, a while back.
Yeah, so what we're saying is Guard got more, Tau got more, but that's a lot of that's crew.
Did Tau get more?
Tau
Oh, it's
got 11,
crew.
crew.
Yeah, crew, yeah.
But they're also crew, so you know.
Yeah, not too bothered.
Thanks, though, Nick. Colton D, thank you for 5 gifted memberships.
Thank you. I hope that you get a rent decrease.
Decrease.
Yeah,
Strong.
yeah. Some Joe hopes. Let's be honest, won't ever come true. It decreases because you move house. There you go.
Yeah.
And then
a
Craig
bigger house.
comes in and gives 20
Oh.
of the finest memberships.
Thank you, Craig. I hope that you get taken out this weekend for a steak dinner
Oh.
on Saturday
Oh.
and a carvery on Sunday.
Banging.
That's a good one.
That's strong, that. We're having our anniversary tomorrow night. 14 years married.
Yeah.
Not me and you.
I did think you and Joe for a second.
And all we're doing is an Indian takeaway.
Oh, that's good though.
It is good.
I fucking love an Indian. You had a busy weekend though, didn't you?
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Lucy, do you want to go out anyway? I was like, we'd have to arrange childcare. It's up to you. She was like, should we just do an Indian
14 is
takeaway?
not a special number though, is it really?
I mean,
It's a pretty big number.
any number of years that a person has managed to stay with me is
Like,
quite the achievement.
it's like
Yeah.
it's normally like 10, 15, 20, and then after 20 it's the tens, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think any year that an individual has manages to make it through with me is quite impressive, quite frankly. Yourself included. Craig, also thank you for the 1,000 Japanese yen, you legend. I can't believe they let the AOS designers help with 40k on the Space Wolves. I mean,
I wouldn't be surprised.
I was saying it for ages. If Games Workshop wanted to do Space Wars well, they
AOS.
let the AOS team design them.
Looking at them, what you do kind of wonder, are they,
Yeah.
letting AOS out the box a bit?
Yeah, they smashed the wolf aesthetic out with the Soul Blight.
Yeah.
Like just let them.
but I also again, and they are fucking incredible. But I look at the Emperor's Children range so often, and every time you get them out, I pick them up and they are fucking gorgeous as well. I just feel a little bit bad for World Eaters players, for example. But then again, the Death Guard character. And let's be honest, Death Guard have got an incredible range of models already.
Yeah.
The Death Guard players, when you consider World Eaters players, for example, or even Emperor, can't really complain with the amount they have. The Death Guard character is fucking stunning. He's so good.
Death Guard have the best range of CSM, I reckon.
I would say that new Death Guard character is the best Death Guard model they've ever had.
Oh, Warden is, if that's true, that's what's done it then, because he does all the Eldar stuff as well, and he's a fucking hero, and he's watched the channel before, and he's been in our chat. Daz Latham sculpted the Space Wolves, not AOS designers. Daz Latham is a fucking god amongst mere mortal men up at Warhammer World, up at Lenton Road. He is a god. He sculpted all the Eldar stuff.
That would make sense.
He is insane. Daz is fucking, and he's a legend. And there was 2 or 3 times up before he came and found us in the shop, and we chatted to him. Oh, what an absolute
Can you
hero.
do some World Eaters?
No, it's fine.
Oh.
It's fine.
To be honest, if he did any of the World Eaters, it would be the Berserkers.
Thanks, Craig, for the yellow one. You're a hero. Thank you so much, Chad, for a yellow one as well for $10. The only problem with the Space Wolves release is that the models are so flavourful, they'll make the other models in your army, Hellblasters, Dreadnoughts, etc., look incredibly blanded in comparison. I can see myself doing this thing. I'm not the only one that does this, but I can see myself doing this thing whereby, and I've done this in the past with World Eaters. You sort of have done it to a point with Emperor's Children, where my army will just not be made of anything outside of Space Wolf stuff.
Well, what you can do, right, if you do want Hellblasters, is get the Hellblaster arms and put them on the Space Wolf bodies.
That's a good shout. That covers like all the Tacticus options, doesn't it?
Yeah, like
to be fair, like if you just do that, and then what else? I guess if you want, I would say if you want aggressors, but do you want? That'd be weird in a Space Wolves army.
The T-shirt launchers, just.
Oh, don't! If
Fuck
you take
off,
them in
Joe.
space, you're not allowed to take them in space.
No,
I'm saying that now.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is,
No.
you can literally put those guns on their normal bodies,
No.
Yes, and then we'll kill you.
and then you mount the little rocket things on the shoulder pads, and they look immediately.
There's T-shirt launches through there.
Yeah.
You can put them in any chapter you want. Not Space Wolves.
Yeah, well, I'm not playing Space Wolves, so it's not a problem.
Good. No.
They're the only thing I'll be like, no, fuck off.
But yeah, I think if you look at Grey Hunters, Blood Claws, Head Takers, Wolf Guard Terminators, at the moment I'm like, that, with enough of those units of each of those, I'm not going to need it.
Yeah, like
that'll fill points.
That's 2 battle line units, 2 elite units, and then like 7 characters now or something.
Looking at those box sets as well, you're not going to be short of backpacks, heads, or shoulder pads.
That's what I was going to say.
Knees or toes.
Yeah, you've got you're going to have so many spares, it doesn't matter.
That's what I was going to say. Like, there must be a bunch of stuff in there that you can just stick onto anything else you want.
I want it now, though.
And like I guess
now.
the thing you might struggle with is like if you want to take vehicles or something, like that might be a tough one to try and kit bash that a little bit. But you can do it still, I think. If you even if you just put shields on the side of it.
There's still going to be an upgrade pack that's going to have bits and iconographies that you can stick on a Gladiator Lancer or 2.
You could just take like an Impulsor or something and just stick along a load of shields alongside of it. Like,
But I would like to take an Impulsor and turn it into a longboat.
That's what I'm saying. Just stick a bunch of shields around it. Just put a mast in the middle as well. Fuck it.
What you can
Big sail.
What you can do for the t-shirt launcher unit is just use. Listen to the words I'm saying first before you poo-poo it.
No.
Is you just give them the old missile launchers.
No, fuck off.
Or you get the underslung missile launchers that Horus Heresy have.
No.
The only chapter that should take T-shirt launchers is Imperial Fist.
She's saying that no one else is allowed to have missile launchers in their army.
No one
The
should have those
T-shirt
models.
ones.
They're an abortion.
I'm not saying use those models.
They're
I'm just saying use other missile launchers.
They belong in Orcs.
What's happening here is I'm saying words and you're just ignoring the words that are coming out.
That's what normally happens, Joe, to be
I
fair.
hate this job.
Kurt's Corner, thank you for the $2. Wolves Shield Wall versus 100 plus Berserker fight.
Oh, I'm down for that.
We did order Tom 2 more boxes of Berserkers today. Now they can be taken in squads of 20.
Mate, I actually legit think Berserkers are good now. Like, to be clear, in 2 detachments they're good. I wouldn't bother in any of the other ones.
No.
If you're doing Berserker Warband, weirdly, Berserker Warband, finally Berserkers are good in it. And in the funny transport one where you just get out and punch people, those 2 are legit good with Berserkers. Especially Khan, I think, is better now. March of Executions got worse, but also went down 50 points. So he's quite good now.
How many points is he now?
60.
Jeez.
He was 110 before. That's how much Fights First gets you.
Cheaper than anything in the Emperor's Children Codex.
Yeah.
Well, no, the Sorcerer is 60 points.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, and the Lord Cacophonus is 60 points, but in isolation, the Lord Cacophonus is nowhere as good as the Master Executions.
Yeah, he got more rules now as well, because he still has his reroll everything against character units. He still has precision dev wounds. He lost Fights First, obviously, which sucks, but then he gained the ability to reroll advances and reroll Blood Surge for your Berserker unit. And he gained the ability to, when he kill a unit, you get a CP.
I do think there should be slightly less Fights First in the game.
I agree
So
with
him
that.
losing Fights First, I'm not against.
I definitely agree with that now that I don't have it.
Yeah, fair. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I am going to try and make an 80 Berserker list at some point, because that'll be fun.
Good man. Wee Man, thank you for 5 gifted memberships.
Thank you, man.
Legend.
I hope that you are gifted a pair of Crocs cowboy boots.
I've heard that Crocs are incredibly comfortable.
Yeah. But they have to be the actual Croc brand, not the fake ones.
Yeah, I don't have the balls to wear them though. Because anyone who wears them looks like a knob.
I feel like the only people that can realistically get away with it is people like nurses and bodybuilders.
Yeah.
Bodybuilders.
Yeah. Because you're not going to argue with them, are you?
Yeah.
No, true.
big beautiful Ash, big juicy Ash that comes up. He comes around, and he's the only person I know who can get away with this.
Yeah.
The tiniest t-shirt, tracky bottoms, Crocs. You know.
Yeah, I guess
And
we
you
look
just
like
wanna know,
that.
I'm like, you do you, mate.
We look like that. It doesn't really matter what you wear, does it?
Yeah. But his legs are like my head. Like he can't wear jeans because like tracky bottoms and anything like and no one's gonna give him like critiques on his outfit, are they?
Drew says 88 time. We need 8 characters to lead 8 units.
Unfortunately, Berserkers is still quite expensive.
Yeah,
so
it's a
this
shame.
may be breaching the 2,000 point mark.
We're on 87 members though.
I said that Berserkers should drop 10 points a unit, so that a 20-man unit's 300 points.
I do think.
Then you can get 120.
I do think Berserkers are too many points at the moment.
By a lot or a tweak?
Not by a massive amount. I think I agree with Joe. Just 10 points down. I think maybe scale it as well, because you know they started doing weird numbers for like 5 or 10 as a different variable.
Yeah.
So maybe go down like 5 points for 10 and down 10 points for 20 or something like that. Because I think 20 is less good realistically.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Evan Tumanumanamanali, for the $2. He says doggy daycare on Fenris, pals and paws. Yep.
Whoa.
Doggy daycare on Fenris is just stick him in the basement at the moment.
Having a 20-man unit of Berserkers, rapid ingress.
They don't deep shot.
No, but they can come in from the side of the table.
You try fucking hiding 20 dudes.
Oh, you don't want to, because you want someone to shoot at them, so they move closer.
Yeah, but like your opponent, I mean, maybe, yeah, but like your opponent's going to be like, I might see that one coming when there's 20 dudes on the side of the table.
Yeah. Thank you then, Cray, for the 5,000 Japanese yen. This one's gone pink.
I don't know what number that is.
It's more, well, pink is normally like 50 quid or higher.
Oh, hero.
So he says, thinking about trying to find some time to come out to the UK all the way from Japan, and would love to when the gaming space opens. I'll have to start a thread in the Discord and figure out recommendations. Maybe Japanese whiskey as a grand opening gift. 424 people have made it nearly 2 hours into a show. Hobby House cogs have literally started turning this morning.
Ooh.
So there'll be more information coming quite soon, but the cogs have started turning this morning. We logically could be open within the next 3 to 4 months.
Hype.
Thank God. So I don't know how and when, but it started moving today. We finally have an open bank account, which has been the thing I've been waiting for literally 3.5 weeks. So
Ash has done a great public service. That was have the Combat Patrol box set or Combat Patrol magazine has got a unit of Chaos Space Marine Havocs in it.
Yeah.
Oh.
For a tenner.
Cool.
So they're up for pre-order on Forbidden Planet right now.
Liam, would you prefer Thunderwolves if they were monsters and didn't have Marines on the back? It's the Marines on the back of them that make them look dumb as shit.
I agree.
So yes,
Wolf
100%.
packs would be cool, and that's why the new head takers are cool, because they just have cool wolves running around.
Yeah.
People riding, specifically Space Marines riding wolves, is mental.
Yeah.
I was always a big fan of the little wolf packs.
They're cool. I like the
OC Zero
wolves.
makes sense because they're just dogs.
They are just
They
dogs.
can't press buttons. They just poop
They
places.
can't recover assets.
Yeah, they're just there, existing, doing dog things. Like I would never trust my dog to do anything.
Yeah, you trust it to maybe bite someone.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Possibly.
maybe.
Very little though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's not little. It's just
Normal.
It's a dog.
Yeah.
Dog.
Thank you, Sam Deacon, for 5 gifted memberships.
Thank you. I hope that you have steak ciabattas for dinner. Guess what I'm having for dinner tonight?
Steak ciabattas.
Whatever you want. I'm not here, so I don't care.
Steak ciabatta.
Oh, yeah.
You can go home.
Sad times.
Sad times, but
Does that mean Joe's on the deck?
Joe's decking tonight, yeah.
Love it.
What could go wrong?
Everything.
Can't go wrong.
I believe in Jay.
And there's no Brom here to fix it if it goes wrong.
No, it's 3 people that have no idea how the deck works. Well, Tom's probably the
have
most
a-
idea how the deck works.
That's kind of funny, isn't it? The most recent person to the channel.
Yeah.
Oh.
You'll be fine. I trust you all. I believe in you all.
Just do not press the shuffle button.
You'll all be fine, yeah. Don't press it's the right shuffle button that's the problem. You'll
Just
be
don't
fine.
press any of them.
Sir Galahad Grail Hunter, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope that you don't spill super glue on any of your clothes.
Oh,
It's a nightmare.
it is a nightmare. It fucking. I spilled super glue on some of my nice tracky bottoms, and it like solidified into a hard round circle.
Yeah,
And
and,
I
then,
was
and what it does is it cracks them. So if you can literally snap it, and then it creates a hole. It basically turns because it's a resin. It just destroys.
Well, so I
any
was
clothes
like, I know.
pieces.
Once it had dried and it annoyed me after about 3 weeks, I was like, I know how I'll fix it. So I put some fucking white spirit or acetone on it to break it down. It did break it down, including all the fibres it had connected to. So it had a hole there.
Just had a hole.
Yeah.
So they went in the bin.
Could be a convenient hole.
Do we get to see New World Eaters tonight? You do indeed, Jacob. Yes. And then
Yeah.
thank you, Caleb, for 5 gifted memberships.
I hope that you come home from work tomorrow and there is a miniature Shetland pony in your living room.
Okay,
Okay, cool. Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
But it's house trained.
Don't know. It's there, isn't it?
And it didn't break in.
The shock on his face. Like, I haven't thought about
Whose
it.
house is there?
Just want the fucking
Did
pony
it,
there.
did it
Yeah, I
break
don't write
the door
the rules.
down to be there?
I know it's just there. I don't
Okay.
know how it got there. Don't know whose it is. It's just arrived.
Fair enough.
Sweeping writing at the end. So Galahad with the $10 just arrived.
Oh.
Can we start again? Space Wolves don't need Thunderwolves.
Agree.
Do Vikings riding big dogs appear in any Black Library novels? Question mark. These new Space Wolves make me want to collect Space Wolves deck. That's the right life choice. You can do it alongside me.
Let's all collect Space Wolves, because then they'll be like, oh, they're making all the money. Let's
Fucking-
do more of them.
Maybe we should put more time and effort into our design ethos.
Yeah, maybe
look how
we
much
should.
we've sold.
What we should do is demonstrate that the good design makes more money
Well,
than
they-
the shit design.
I think if you consider the stock issues that they've got with Emperor's Children right now,
Oh, yeah.
it's going to be tenfold with Wolves. I
I
reckon.
wonder,
Yeah.
wonder how many Fulgrims haven't sold.
Do you reckon Games Workshop's like selling system at the moment, where they sell out of everything immediately, is based on a lack of space?
Maybe.
So they're like, we don't have space to hold everything.
Yeah.
So basically, it's put up for sale. It goes. It's not taking up floor space for very long.
I hope not. I just got rid of the last Shetland pony. Common problem then. Yeah, I'm torn on the Thunderwolves because on the one hand, there's loads of people that have a load already that spent a lot of money on them.
Yeah, I do feel bad for that.
And so I don't like people to lose out on something they've got. And I always like more options because options is good. What I would like, and I feel like this hasn't necessarily been the case, is I would like to have a codex whereby you can take them, they're not an auto take. Like everything.
Yeah, 100%.
Internal balance is key. So if I could run a whole Shield Wolf, Space Wolf army and not have to worry about Thunderwolves, but they exist in the book, fine, that's cool. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I don't care. If I look at, this is the problem I had previously when I collected, and I looked at things like Thunderwolves and Wolfen and was like, you almost have to take these for it to be viable. And that's when I'm like, I don't want to because I don't like the werewolf vibe. So I am a person who doesn't like Thunderwolves, but I also never like a thing that people have spent a lot of money on over the last few years to be then taken out of the game. Because there is nothing like when they did it with Stormcast, when the launch of AOS, they removed that whole chamber.
Yeah.
They could all be proxied as other units.
Yeah.
So like you can still use them kind of. But Space Wolf, Thunderwolves, if you think about it, what the fuck do you proxy them as if they remove the data sheet? You can't.
Bike.
Maybe.
They're on the wrong base size. But apart from that,
Yeah, but you got to think right. They're not afraid to get rid of Thunderwolves. Right?
no, God, no.
They're not afraid to get rid of them because like Dark Angels players, right? Ravenwing bikers just went. And there was people that owned like 50, 60 of them.
Yep.
Well, you think like the whole Legendsing at the start of 10th edition where everyone was crying and sad.
What? It's the team chat. Sorry. I'm going to laugh out loud and then I have no clue what I'm talking about. Thank you also, Sir Galahad, for the 5. To be honest, Joe, I just accept the hope of a drop in temperature around me. Also, wild Shetland ponies are vicious.
They are.
They are.
They are real nibbly.
So Joe's just be like, there's a pony that's broken into your house and will now attack you.
Yeah! There's your hope. And then thank you so much, Hubris D, for the 5 gifted memberships.
Yeah. He's right, isn't he, Joe?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, God.
I hope that
Someone said take the walls off the base and rebase them as headhunters. They are not going to fit on a 40mm base, mate.
what could you use them as?
They're on the same base size as Dreadnoughts.
Yeah, they're quite large.
They're
Aren't they?
60mm. I think you'd have to go as bikers, and it would be a fucking stretch.
Yeah, you could probably rebase them onto the Outrider base.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, well, Outrider's monstrously huge
Hey.
bases.
Yeah, that'd probably be your only option.
Yeah,
really.
I hope Hubris D that the next pre-order you want to buy, they have lots of stock. And it doesn't sell out immediately.
That's a strong hope, actually, to be fair.
Yeah, I hope you're actually capable of buying the things that you want to buy.
Yeah, on Saturday, where I was like, oh, maybe I'll buy the new limited edition World Eaters kit. No, he's gone.
Well, I was saying, some of the things telling me that a lot of the World Eaters and Death Guard stuff sold out before 10 o'clock. So it's sold out before it's supposed to go on pre-order.
Yeah, it did.
So the fact that they're putting them up earlier and earlier and earlier now is always a bit of a spit in the face of the people that turn up at 10 because that's the pre-order time it's always been.
It is, and as we saw it coming, the ultra special editions are now all on eBay for double the cost minimum.
Yeah.
And it starts at 150 quid, so they're all like 400 quid or higher.
Yeah.
Oh my God, chat's working hard to keep us here. I'm trying to
Holy
go
shit,
because
yeah.
I've got to get ready for tonight. Thank you, Mandy, so much for $20. Nothing should ever be Legends. They should just get worse rules so the people that want to have fun can actually take them.
I don't know.
But is it fun if their rules are that bad?
Yeah,
I think we say, like, I always do think, like, you know, take what you want if you want to have fun. But, like, we look at Fulgrim. You're not having fun when
I'm not having fun with Fulgrim,
rocks
he's
up
new.
and does 5 wounds to a Forge Fiend.
I would have preferred... I prefer the idea that Seth is gone and then they've made him worse.
Yeah, I get that.
Right? You know?
Like, I don't really have a problem with... I think Legends does genuinely need to happen sometimes, especially with armies like Space Marines, where they just have a never-ending restock of new units. What I don't understand is when they Legends stuff for armies that only have, like, 5 units anyway. That's just insane.
It's like breaking up with someone and them still live in your house being really annoying.
Yeah.
It's like, just go. Just go. Just get out.
I need a new person.
Yeah. You know, you break up. They still act like you're best friends, and you're like, I hate your face right now because you are annoying me. You know.
Thank you, Mandy, for 10 more bucks. In the US, that special edition Codex was out a lot longer. I honestly didn't see the value of $250 for a book, some cards, and coins. If you want to hear the real shock thing, you can still buy the limited edition World Edicts Codex. If you go to Games Workshop New Zealand or Australia and you have someone that can deliver, it can be delivered to.
So about £1,000.
In fact, the last time I checked, if you're in New Zealand on Games Workshop, you can still buy the Emperor's Children limited edition one.
Yeah. Yeah, the pricing of the Ultra Special books is the most insane thing I've ever seen
It's slightly
GW
vomit-inducing, isn't it?
I saw that and it just made me angry.
If you go and buy it in New Zealand, I think it's 450 New Zealand dollars, which works out at 220 quid.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That you could buy half a fucking army for that. Like Jesus. Yeah. The new starter boxes cost the same as the books. Like what are we doing?
And then finally, Mortarion, thank you for the one gifted membership.
The thing is, we have this like a trend of things that the markup of just putting. The problem I think is at the moment is that Games Workshop seems to think it's Apple. You know.
Yeah.
If you put Warhammer on something, the markup immediately just becomes massive. I think Games Workshop tends to overvalue some of its things. Mandy's not been around for a while.
Mandy really wants to talk to you, Liam.
Mandy, have you dropped it yet? Is that why you're back?
Yeah.
Has that happened now?
Dropped it?
Dropped what?
Yeah, Mandy was pregnant.
Oh.
I don't know if she has had a baby yet, and that's why she suddenly turned up.
Yeah, she's super happy.
Yeah.
You know.
Now going to...
Come to the family shows now.
Yeah.
You've left behind all those, like...
I can't remember. Mandy, she did tell me what the due date was, and I've forgotten. I'm sorry, Mandy. But no, I love using legends. My Malanthrope and Dimicarion make every list, even with the bad rules. They are cool models, and the point is, for fun games, isn't to win every time. Have fun thematic fights. I actually agree with that.
I 100% agree with that, and I think there's a lot to be said with just taking the stuff you like and enjoy. But there are some units that their rules become so bad that it's just kind of depressing.
There's just there is a limit.
I think the issue I have with it is when you take someone like a Primarch who should just bat someone to the floor and then can't even like kill one unit.
Yeah,
I don't mind them going to Legends. I just think that you should leave them in Legends forevermore with rules, and they should be available on the fucking app.
That is the biggest issue I have with how they do Legends, is the fact that there isn't like an option for like when you start building a list, just like casual list, Legends pop up.
I just want a toggle, Legends on or off.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all I care about.
That's all you need. It could even just be like, when it says allies, it could be a drop down in one of them.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
it's not hard to do, is it? And once it's in, they never really have to change it again.
It's not hard to do when you think that everything that's gone to Legends, right, has already existed on the app before.
Yeah.
So they've literally had to delete it off the app. You know?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah,
I'm having 3 conversations at once.
And like they had to write the rules for them in the first place, so they might as well keep them around on the app.
Just have
they've gone to the effort of writing them.
Mandy says it's not till August. Good.
Tom,
Liam, or Joe are all great names.
I don't envy you having to carry a child in the middle of summer.
Oh, that is rough.
Depends whereabouts in the US she's based. Because summer might not be that warm.
US is pretty hot, isn't it?
I don't know.
I guess if you're in the north, it might be alright.
We have Legends of the Ice Up. Yeah, 40k users just learned from that. Anyway, thank you wonderful humans, for taking part in the conversation. I actually don't think Games Workshop specifically hates Chaos. There was a bit of a clickbait title there. But I think that, because I think Emperor's Children got a stunning model range and Death Guard have got an incredible codex. So I don't think that's the case. I just saw I did see the Wolves release.
They hate World Eaters is what
I saw the Wolves release and was like, World Eaters are going to be upset.
If I didn't like Space Wolves as well, I'd be a lot angrier right now.
Yeah.
My biggest upset for World Eaters comes from Fulgrim is not the fact that he struggles to kill anything that's half his points.
You said World Eaters.
Well, it was Emperor's Children.
Yeah.
Like, the Fulgrim struggles to kill anything that's less points than him. He should realistically solo most things at 150 points.
Yeah.
Right? He shouldn't struggle as much as he does. And also, I do think that there are huge gaps in that codex that need to be filled by other units.
Yeah, I think so.
I think...
And it doesn't make sense. Now we've got Death Guard and World Eaters, and like World Eaters kept Forge Feeds, kept Predators, and they got better because they got fucking rapid fire.
Yeah.
I now really... Because I'll be honest with you, I was one of those people that when I saw when I saw the Emperor's Children Codex, I was like, cool. World Eaters are going to be losing Forge Fiends and Predators as well. That makes perfect sense. And they didn't, and I was like, that's odd.
And I'm glad we have them.
I think
I am, but it is odd.
the two quickest fixes that Emperor's Children need is they need a cultist unit.
They should have had that.
Right? Allow them to take demons in there and stuff, because that fills some of the
I mean,
holes.
that's all four of the Chaos ones, isn't it? They should all... oh, hello, again.
Yeah.
Love you, Mandy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think... Yeah. And Fulgrim needs to drop at least 50 points minimum.
Would you rather have him have better rules or drop
I
points?
would rather he stays at the points he is, and they
be
just
cool.
made him good.
I don't think it would take much either.
So you allow him to have the fight first and the -1 to hit, or go like Gilliman. So do like Gilliman, you can pick 2 every turn. So you go -1 to hit and the fight first, and then you probably give him +2 attacks.
Or I think he needs +1 AP is actually a bigger thing for him, because at the moment he's not really cutting through much.
Well, it's AP3.
Yeah, but then you think of the armies that have armor contempt and stuff like that, and like one of my most annoying things about New Angron is he got from AP4 to AP3.
Yeah,
so he doesn't reliably body 2 tanks in one go.
Yeah, but you probably shouldn't be killing 2 tanks.
I think Angron probably should.
I think if anyone in the game should, it should be Angron.
Yeah, but I think if he's killing 2 tanks, -3 is fine. Because at the moment at -3 means that he definitely kills 1 tank. He might kill 2.
But he also lost reroll hits.
But if he's got -4, he's definitely killing 2. I think dropping it down to definitely killing 1, maybe 2 is fine.
To be honest.
Whereas Fulgrim can't kill 1, and that's a problem. So I'd rather
I think he would kill 1 that doesn't have an end button.
if he went to 8 attacks and he was allowed to pick 2 of his Primarch abilities, he'd probably be worth his points.
But 8's not your number.
Christopher, thank you for the $2. No, they hate Blood Angels.
No. No.
I don't
Blood
think
Angels, you have the entire Space Marine range and then like 10 of your own units.
I don't think Games Workshop hates anything that they sell.
Nah.
The problem is they have a massive skill gap in the working and knowledge abilities of their staff. Right? So, for instance, the best designer that they have, Mr. Latham, designed the best-looking army that they've produced in 40k for a while.
Eldar
Right.
and Space Wolves.
The intern was given Inquisitor Cotiers to practice on, right? And he took too long, and they couldn't fix it, so they had to put out the shit that they had.
Yes.
Right. And that. I think that's very much the case of some of the army, but like a lot of their talent in terms of sculpting models is fine, but their rules writing talent is where it is. You've got some people writing great rules. Fixing the rules.
I think the rules are doing this now.
Yeah.
I think they're coming into it used to be really shit codex, really incredible codex, and we're seeing a lot more in the central band codexes. I think they're doing a better job of bringing them all into line.
If we look at all the ones that come out 2025, there has not been a bad codex.
No, there's not been a super busted one either, really.
No, I'd say
Eldar are very good.
Eldar are probably the strongest one. However, Death Guard may supplant them.
I did say to Tom earlier, is the great thing about Fulgrim, right, is that he makes Abaddon look good.
He does, yeah. Mandy, thank you for $10 more. She says, also a lot of overtime, 5 clerks in my office, 2 quit, 1 is retiring, so lots of overtime for me. And it has to be a name in Spanish. Husband's choice on that one. I do catch the streams afterwards. Thank you for watching them all.
El Joe.
You could take Jose, put an S in Joe's name. I did see Soup say you should call him Pedro as in Cantor, and she said it's not a bad choice. I wouldn't call Spanish heritage Pedro because that's. Connor, thank you for $2. Sonic Dreadnought. They should have had a Sonic Dreadnought.
Oh,
yeah. Where's the Hellbrute? The other,
just the Hellbrute.
The Hellbrute alone, right, is literal madness to me.
Yeah.
Everyone else has got it.
Also, the Death Guard Worldies ones are really good now.
And based on all your complaining, just before we say goodbye, Joe, Jayco does, thank you for the 2, just say, Joe, Fulgrim can kill a Warhound.
He can't. Right? He can't kill himself. His rules aren't even good enough to kill himself.
You would need the most rigged dice of all time to kill a war. Like, you'd have to have D20s that only roll 20s on the damage.
What's interesting is that most models in the game, their output normally has the ability to kill themselves,
Yeah.
right? So, like the lion, his output could kill. Like, Fulgrim can't. It's one of the few characters that can't actually hurt his own profile.
If you ever play Emperor's Children to Emperor's Children, they'll just be like touching each other in the middle of the board.
Yeah,
Which is very Emperor's Children.
Which, to be fair, is lore accurate.
Yeah, the only person that wins the Emperor's Children fight off is the one that didn't bring Fulgrim.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're playing with 2,000 points instead of 1,600.
Yeah.
Right, you people are amazing. Thank you for hanging out and talking to us about this topic today. Thank you so much for all the gifted. We ended up on 108 of the finest members. You're amazing. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for all the super chats as well. Big Mandy coming in at the end there. And I say Big Mandy because she's pregnant, obviously. Not
for yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Not because she's got thighs like tree trunks. Came in there throwing all those super chats at us and throwing us over the super chat target as well. You're all amazing people. 250 likes as well is incredible. Something else to like is another stream this evening at 7:30 where we'll be showcasing the brand new World Eaters Codex. Big shout out to GW for sending it to us. And Tom is using the detachment that was the Index but is now...
This is the Berserker Warband.
And it has changed significantly.
Changed quite a lot. Berserkers are good now, innit?
Yeah.
Unlike before.
So you get to watch that tonight. He's taking on Paddy with Blood Angels, I believe.
Yes.
We don't know what Paddy's bringing.
I'm sure he wouldn't take all shooting.
And
He's Blood Angels.
Yeah.
it is Blood Angels.
Yeah.
And on Thursday, it will be Death Guard versus whatever Joe wants to run as we run Death Guard preview. And then next week, we'll hopefully do another preview for each codex as well. What I don't want to do is Death Guard versus World Eaters, the same as everyone else has already been doing.
We could do...
Yeah.
You've got Mortarion, yeah?
Have Mortarion, yeah.
Yeah. I might bring...
Fulgrim?
Do you really want to bring Fulgrim?
No, I might
against
bring like Black Legion or
Mortarion?
something.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool. I'm
that's
into it.
narrative.
That'd be cool, actually.
There we
You could
go.
have Abaddon. That'd be cool.
So thank you, you wonderful humans, for hanging out with us. I hope you've enjoyed the show. If you have and you haven't already, please make sure you smash that like button. Otherwise, like I say, we have another live one tonight at 7:30. There's no stream tomorrow at 7:30 because it's wedding anniversary and she chopped my nuts off, to say the least.
What's your favourite Indian meal? As a side, just...
I once had an incredible shashlik masala, which was quite nice. I can't find it anywhere else.
fancy.
Sounds like a sexual manoeuvre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like a dansak sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also sexual manoeuvre.
Beautiful.
I'm always about do piazza.
To be fair, the best thing about an Indian is poppadoms and mango chutney. Peshwari naan as well. Oh, bang it.
Good stuff.
Bombay potatoes.
Yeah.
Banging.
Like a lamb Rogan Josh. They're quite nice.
Oh, hungry now.
It's
Anyway, we can talk about Indian for the next half an hour. So like I said, there's no stream tomorrow. We are back on Thursday with the Liam, Tom and Joe show at 13:30, and then there's a live game in the evening again. Like I say, it's a Death Guard reveal, and then we're back with After Dark on Friday. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out, you wonderful human beings. Hopefully we'll see you tonight at 7:30. If not, we'll see you in the next one.
Bye, have a wonderful time.
Bye.